This is the Buzz Adams Morning Show podcast. Barstool Talk Daily. Except it's really early in the morning and no booze. For the most part.
And now, it's time.
The Q Morning Show is back.
KLAQ is the best. Not playing around.
This is the Morning Show on 95.5 KLAQ.
Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. It's Wednesday morning. The day after the big presidential debate. Joanna was, I don't know, were you tweeting during
I was
it?
live tweeting that.
Yeah.
I was like, hide your dogs, hide your cats.
I just want to start off by saying, like, I first heard about this rumor that was being spread by some people in the Trump sphere.
Oh,
that
really?
Haitian immigrants were eating people's cats and dogs in Ohio.
I had not heard that until last night.
I had only heard it from, I think, like a phone call from Cucker that we didn't have time to air yesterday. And I just want to say, look,
Yes.
those Haitians are here. Asylum laws are for what Haiti's been going through. Haiti's president had to flee the country, and the government was taken over by violent gangs. And if you know anything about Haiti, you know that Haitians don't kidnap your pets to eat.
Oh, no?
Haitians kidnap your pets to sacrifice them in voodoo rituals. Come on, people.
Yeah, get it together. Get your facts straight.
Ladies and gentlemen,
God, we
Nico
really
and
need to get
Jimmy has entered the building, and it's not even 6:30 yet.
Oh, my
Woo!
God, Nico, a
Look at
minute
that.
before your usual time. I'm so proud of you, buddy.
Hey, good
What's my
morning.
usual time?
You know,
Like, you know,
6:30,
30.
6:25.
Shut up.
Usually
30.
it's like 6:10, but right
Yesterday
now
it was 7:15.
6:09.
Nice.
Baby steps.
Think about this. That's 2 days in a row that Nico came in at least an hour late. Remember Monday I had to go back and get my keys because we were locked out of the studio?
Well, that was like a chain
Yeah,
reaction. It was
I
you
mean-
first, then Nico.
Right.
If I
couldn't-
had the opportunity, I would have left here too.
Come on, AI. Make it happen.
Anyway, back to hide your pets.
Mm-hmm.
They eating them in the streets.
That was such a weird moment.
Did you see that when it happened? And David Muir's
Did you
like,
watch the whole thing?
ABC
I
News
watched the whole thing
I watched
after
the
I
whole
was like,
damn
I don't
thing.
even want to watch this crap.
You
and
watched.
then I watched the whole thing.
You watched the whole thing.
I hate watched it. Yeah.
Did it give you anxiety as much as it gave me?
Yes.
Oh, it was so hard to watch at some points.
Like I couldn't turn away either.
Well, unlike the last presidential debate, they had two people who were alive up there, so...
Donald Trump did terribly. Just awful.
That is what the majority of pundits have been saying, but I was listening to Fox News on the radio on the way in, and Trump had called in, and he was talking about, all of the polls say that I won it 90-10. 90-10. Do they score debates like that?
He was making up numbers.
Well, I don't...
He was just throwing
No.
up. Yes, I swear to God.
And nobody told them, like, Mr. President, that's not
Well,
how
I don't
it
know
works.
where he got these numbers. He
No.
probably got them from a Breitbart poll. They basically a fan
Dude,
site.
I'm telling you, he
Just made it up.
He just made up
All
four
of
different
the
numbers.
polls are saying that I won by 90-10. to 10.
Yeah, that's dictator style. Like
Yeah.
no real poll. So he made up 4 different polls that afterwards and just shouted numbers out. Anyways, you could tell he did so badly because he went into the spin room afterwards. Now, and all
What's the spin room?
so the spin room at presidential debates is the room where all the press and the surrogates of the candidates are
People
waiting.
speaking on behalf of the candidates.
Right. And normally they actually have like these big like signs that will say who each person is, that like, so reporters and stuff know. Like Tom Cotton had his own big like sign above his head. Some guy was holding a sign that said
And
Tom
Trump
Cotton here.
crashed that?
Yes. He nobody was expecting him to show up, and he
They were
just,
like, President
I got to
Trump?
get
What are
in
you
there.
doing?
it's the
I
spin-
got my ass kicked so bad. Is that what you're suggesting? Is that he did so badly? He wanted to go in the spin room and do some damage control?
Exactly. That's exactly what was going on last night. He had to do damage control, went out, tried to spin on his own. There's going to be different things you're going to hear today. You're going to hear the words 3-on-1 a lot.
Oh, yeah. He blamed the moderators. The
A lot.
moderators fact-checked him. There was one moment.
In real time.
Okay, I want to know where the idea first germinated, and has it ever occurred that a baby was delivered live and then executed? Because as what's her name, Lindsay, pointed out, the other moderator, it is illegal. There's no state in America where it's legal to execute a baby after it's born.
What Donald Trump is referring to is a interview that the former governor of West Virginia gave.
Trump kept saying West Virginia, but he was the former governor of Virginia.
I think it was former West Virginia
Okay,
governor.
well, it was the opposite of what Trump said, so.
Anyways, what he was talking about out of context was when a baby is born that it has no chance of surviving.
Unviable.
They're an unviable baby that's born. That's just going to die within the next few hours or days. That you have to have certain conversations with parents, and
he was speaking not only as the governor of either West Virginia or Virginia. Opinions vary, but as a physician, he was
Right.
one of the few politicians who's a physician.
And I'll tell you that exact thing came up at the hospital where I was working. There's something called a bioethics commission that every hospital has, which has doctors, PhDs, people who will
what
weigh
do they
it.
do to the baby if they decide? I mean, what did the governor in this case say?
He said that you would have a discussion with the parents about it.
Okay. Then why, even back in the 90s, did I hear the term partial birth abortion being thrown around? In the 90s.
Partial birth and late-term abortion are things that are so rare.
But
so
they happen.
rare. Yes, they happen, but we're not doctors, and whoever the doctor is that performs it must have thought that it was in the best interest of the patient to do it at the time.
But the moderator who fact-checked him says that it is not legal in any state
To kill a baby after. No,
it's born.
it
But
isn't.
what you're describing is, well, maybe it is.
No.
I have some questions about this. I'm willing to believe it happens. So
What are you talking about? Because
what's a partial birth abortion? My understanding is they deliver the baby part way out of the body, and again, you're correct that it is extremely rare.
No, not partial birth. No. I don't know what you're talking about. They don't do anything called partial birth abortions. Okay, so that's just a made up.
term I heard
That's
going
a
around.
made up thing. Okay, they do not deliver babies and then kill them. That has never been a thing.
So when the governor of Virginia or West Virginia was talking about it from the perspective of a physician, what is he saying? What would they do? Just like deprive the baby of
No,
any
not
kind
at
of
all.
care? Do they inject the baby? I mean, how do they kill the baby?
No, they don't kill babies.
Execute it.
They don't kill babies. What is anybody talking about right now?
You said you were talking about when you worked at the hospital, and
I said that there's babies who are born with complications that won't live. It happens, and
But
you
they
have to
don't
talk
kill
to
the babies.
Nobody murders babies. What is anybody talking about
So
right now?
what? They just wait it out until the baby dies on its own?
Yeah, I mean, there's things that you have to consider
All right.
in medicine that, are not perfect situations, but nobody's murdering anybody.
Okay.
Why would you even say the dumbest things like that?
I don't know, because it's a real talking point for Trump, and he says it with so much confidence.
And she fact-checked him alive in his face.
But I've heard similar things like the partial birth abortion or whatever, going all the way back to the Clinton administration.
Well, that's just not a thing.
Okay, so you're saying it doesn't exist, has never existed, has never, ever happened.
That a baby's born and you kill it.
Yeah.
No!
That would be a homicide,
That would be murder.
Okay. But, so what are we talking about?
I don't know. What are you talking about?
This thing that Trump keeps bringing up.
It's not true. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
God, if you did a shot, not even a full shot, a half a shot, if you did a shot every time Trump was asked a question and then didn't answer it and started ranting against migrants.
Immigration was like his what? Like,
not even immigration, just slurs against immigrants.
The other words I think you're going to hear about him are going to be meltdown and unhinged. Those are going to be the two adjectives.
How about old? How about his hair is not even that spun gold caramel color anymore? How about it looked
blend that concealer of his?
He looked. Kamala made him look as old as he made Joe Biden look. Easily. So anyway, there was a debate last night. If you didn't catch it, we'll try and keep it to
I think it was the most consequential debate of the season. Like, you know how big of a deal it was after the first debate between him and Joe Biden?
People were saying it was over.
That's what I think this is going to be like for him.
People are going to be saying, well, we heard it the other way. You know?
Who said that?
That after the Biden debate, people were saying, I did not hold out a lot of hope for Joe Biden beating Donald Trump after that debate, and it was coming off the week before.
After the debate,
shot. He had been shot. You know, people might be thinking that now about Kamala. I think they're trying. You know, there's John. I watched a little bit of Jon Stewart. Did you see any of that last night? Jon Stewart did a live show during the thing.
Oh,
and
interesting.
he showed a map, and basically it's 8 or 9 or 10 states are the only ones they're playing to, those battleground states. You notice Donald Trump and Kamala Harris haven't been to Texas campaigning? That's because Texas is out of play. There's no way Trump loses Texas, and there's no way Kamala wins Texas.
Polls were showing that Ted Cruz is looking like he will not win Senate.
I'm not talking about Ted Cruz.
Well, I know, but that's a big sign of if Ted Cruz loses, like Colin Allred wins the Democratic senator seat, but Trump carries the, I don't know, maybe Texas could split.
Earlier in my life, in my 20s, so this would have been when Clinton was in office. First of all, I didn't see it as an existential crisis, the choice between Clinton and Dole, for instance. Right? And I knew kind of how the electoral system works. The county of El Paso is going to be for the Democrat, but the state is going to go for the Republican, and my one vote isn't going to make much difference. So there were some of those presidential elections where really, I hear some people say both candidates are bad. My opinion was, both candidates are okay. I mean, they're going to keep things going kind of normal, whether it's George H.W. Bush or Bill Clinton.
I think you could say that all the way up to Mitt Romney versus Obama.
I would say that up until, I
didn't think Mitt Romney was going to be an existential threat.
Bush got us into a lot of trouble that we're still paying the price for.
You voted for him. You were like a supporter of him.
For the first time, not the second time, after he got us into Iraq and everywhere else in
So
the
like
world.
the Kerry battle, you weren't necessarily for Bush, that one?
Didn't vote in that one.
Oh, interesting.
Because of the old thing. I know Texas is going to go for the former governor of Texas, George W. Bush, you know. I'm not proud of it, but I just want to say there are a handful of states that are very much in play for either candidate. So this is still very consequential. Just because Trump had a bad night and Kamala had a good night does not mean that it's over.
That's why
you can't forget that we are less than 2 months out from Election Day.
A lot of her surrogates were saying the exact same thing.
All right, very good.
The Daily Calendar. It is the 11th of September. It's National Make Your Bed Day. It's the only day of the year you have to make your bed.
That's the rules.
It's also something called No News is Good News Day. And remember, libraries, it's Libraries Remember Day to remind us that libraries are a place of learning and books and stuff. And of course, it's Patriots Day, so that we never forget those we lost on 9/11.
That's your daily calendar.
Hey, it's Daniel Paulus. I'll be along starting at 3 with everything from GNR to STP to
Get Momentum Premium listers at the Find a Dealer tab to locate your nearest local champion dealer at WinSupplyElPaso.com.
Originating in El Paso for El Paso. The Buzz Adams Morning Show. 95.5 KLAQ.
We've already been leveling it up for about an hour. Nico for about half an hour. Good morning, everybody. I want to tell you about the weather, and then tomorrow we're having another casting call for the KLAQ Haunted Houses of Terror. There are going to be 2 of them this year. And we need actors. We need people to dress up scary and give the people their money's worth when they go through the haunted houses. Look at weather first, though, brought to you by Painted Dunes Desert Golf Course. For this week, we are still looking for it to be sunny. We might see some rain at the end of the weekend, maybe around Sunday night, overnight into Monday. There's a chance of some rain, but not much until then. And it's warming back up. We might even hit 100 this week. 96, the predicted high temperature for today. Tomorrow, though, 99. That could easily slip across the line and be another triple degree. Oh, man, I really got used to those 82s and 83s that we've had a couple of weeks. Close to 100, maybe reaching 100 on Thursday, and upper 90s also for Friday. Going to cool off a little bit ahead of that possibility of rain on Sunday. Low to mid 90s for Saturday and Sunday. And El Paso weather brought to you by Painted Dunes Desert Golf Course. You can set up all your tee times and reservations online at painteddunes.com. That's painteddunes.com. Or you can call them at the Pro Shop, 915-821-2122 for Painted Dunes Desert Golf Course. We're opening the Haunted Houses of Terror later this month. So the Haunted Houses of Terror, and there are going to be 2 of them, are going to be open for over a month leading up to Halloween. Joanna is going to tell us more about it and about the casting call.
Right. Tonight is not tonight.
It's
What's
tomorrow night. Yeah, the 12th.
I'm already on Thursday. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow is a casting call at 6 p.m. at Desert Warriors Paintball. That's out at 13900 Montana. You could also call 915-502-3968 for more information. The Haunted Houses of Terror open September 27th with 2 locations, the 13900 Montana one and one at 2155 Joe Battle Boulevard.
Can I get that phone number if anybody has any questions about the casting call? Yeah.
915-502-3968.
All right.
And now, today in sound clips.
Boy, oh boy.
Oh, you know what we didn't talk about was the Taylor Swift endorsement.
Oh, yeah, all right, sure. They're leading some of the newscast with this. With the debate yesterday and everything else going on in the world, this is the lead story. Taylor Swift has officially endorsed Kamala Harris for president.
She did it through her Instagram, and the picture she put was of a cat.
Well, it was her and her cat, Benjamin Button. Not just any cat. This is kind of a famous
Olivia,
cat.
how dare you?
Yeah, and it was in reference to the cat eating, the pet eating.
She signed her statement, Taylor Swift. No, it wasn't in reference. It's Taylor Swift,
the
childless cat lady
thing.
I think she was pointing out the pet eating thing.
She might have been holding that cat really tight because she heard about the Haitians in Ohio. That is one of the most racist, insulting.
It was
things.
bizarre. Did you ever feel like at some points watching it that it was just like watching it felt like a fever dream. Like, what is going on? Some of the things that were being said.
Mm-hmm. Well,
they're eating cats and dogs. And I was like, what? Also, did you guys notice how she would like prod him by saying like he got $400 million from his dad or this or that? Like she would just kind of needle him a little.
That people are getting bored at his rallies and leaving early.
And she's all like, she basically was like, I dare you to go to a Donald Trump rally. Yeah. I'm in the back like, I already went to one.
You got kept in the media cage, right?
Yeah, they booed us.
And everybody booed it.
They booed
you.
He took the bait though every single time.
He did, yeah.
And he would instead of just moving on
like a big mouth bass. He was taking that bait every time. After watching the debate, Taylor posted her support for Kamala Harris on Instagram. She said, quote, I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them. I think she is a steady-handed, gifted leader, and I believe we will accomplish so much more in this country if we are led by calm and not chaos. I'm going to interject here a little bit, and you guys might be able to help me out. So why was there any question like Trump and some of the MAGA people had been putting up false endorsements from Taylor Swift? Mm-hmm. And some people were speculating because Brittany Mahomes retweeted something Trump said, and they're good friends. So I guess some people were worried that, I don't know if they were worried that Taylor might be a Trump supporter, but a lot of people were encouraging her to come out and say once and for all, because there was a lot of fake images and a lot of stuff being put out there on the internet that made it look like Taylor was thinking about endorsing Trump, right?
Yeah, I mean, they made it. They made AI images to make it seem like that for them.
Let's see. Taylor Swift also said in her statement, "I was so heartened and impressed by her selection of running mate Tim Walz, who has been standing up for LGBTQ plus rights, IVF, and a woman's right to her own body for decades." She signed off, Taylor Swift, childless cat lady. All right, let's get to sound clips.
And now, today in sound clips.
I think we should do it this way because I have a lot of clips from the debate last night. Let's do everything except, all right? And then I'll save the debate stuff for last. Where to start?
Is it all just debate stuff?
It is. It's so much.
I see it scrolling.
Okay. A woman named Sally Duvall is running for Congress in Texas. She's a Democrat. And one of her main planks is to legalize marijuana in Texas.
Go on.
Don't tell her. It's basically legal in El Paso ever since New Mexico legalized it. And in her campaign ad, here's Sally, not to be confused with Shelley Duvall, who just passed away a couple of months ago. Sally Duvall is running for the Texas House of Representatives, and she lights up and smokes out of a bong during her campaign ad.
My name is Sally Duvall, and I'm running for the Texas House of Representatives. They arrest people every day for marijuana possession, but they don't have the funding to test if it's illegal marijuana or a federally legal hemp product. Our laws are confusing and unclear. Texans should have the freedom to consume these products if they want to. You can visit my website to read all about my common sense policy. I'm Sally Duvall, and I believe it's high time for change in Texas.
That's awesome. I'm going to vote for her.
I don't.
Doesn't matter if she's not
she's running in your district.
Yeah, it's all right. I'll move to her district just for that. That's awesome.
So you know the stereotype about Florida, it's where all the people from the Northeast move when they retire, and so it's full of old people, right?
Mm-hmm. Joanna can speak to that.
If you do retire to Florida, just be aware that as an elderly person, you might have to deal with things you wouldn't necessarily have to deal in other states, like alligator attacks.
Oh, I was going to say loofahs and swinging.
An 84-year-old Florida woman survived an alligator attack.
Oh, my.
She was walking her dog when she was attacked by a 7-foot alligator that actually bit her. She survived, and part of the way she survived was by punching the alligator in the face. The dog was okay, and she is recuperating from her alligator inflicted injuries. So here is 84-year-old Del Bopple. I love that name for some reason. Del Bopple talking about the gator attack.
It's a moment of survival. I can understand men and women in war now. I have never seen anything move that fast in all my life. I didn't have time to think. That alligator took off like 35 miles an hour, and I'm not joking.
All right. Tyreek Hill's agent is saying that he would like to see officers fired after we've seen that video. Well, his lawyer, Drew Rosenhaus, has come out and said that some of that behavior by the police officers was way out of line and people should be fired. That's who he was on the phone with. He was on the phone with somebody as they're throwing him on the ground. He's like, Drew, they're arresting me. Drew. It's his agent, Drew Rosenhaus. So here's Drew Rosenhaus saying that the police officers, or some of the police officers in that altercation with Miami Dolphins receiver Tyreek Hill, should be fired.
For me personally, I think that police officers that did that to Tyreek shouldn't be in that position. They should be let go. Look at the guy that just kicked him right there. That guy should be fired. That's out of control. The guy that jumped in, put him in a chokehold. There's no place for a police officer to have a badge that operates like that when Tyreek wasn't being aggressive or violent or fighting back.
Well, we saw a portion of the body cam footage, and I mean, Tyreek was not quite as compliant as he might have led the press to believe. We had Cappy in here, and we watched it was a 105-minute video, but the only part of it, they're only showing a couple of minutes. You can't show a 105-minute video on TV. Nobody came out looking great. Tyreek didn't get out of the car or didn't lower his window when they asked him to. The cops, I thought, were a little over the top in some of their reaction. Got a little more audio for you. The mother of the suspect in last week's Georgia school shooting is talking. The mother of Colt Gray, Marcy Gray, told ABC News she was unaware that the boy's father, Colin Gray, had bought their son an AR-15, and says she tried to report him to the school the day of the shooting after she says she was sent a disturbing email from the school's counselor about her son, Colt. So here is the mom of last week's Georgia school shooter, Marcy Gray.
The counselor said, well, I wanted to let you know that earlier this morning, one of Colt's teachers had sent me an email that said Colt had been making references to school shootings. Between my gut feelings, the text messages, and now this email, y'all need to go, run to the classroom.
Wow.
It sounds like the mom should have had custody of that 14-year-old.
They weren't together?
I don't think so. Just from the way she's talking about the dad and the influence that she didn't know that he bought him an AR-15. I don't know if that's a thing you can keep secret if you're living in the same house. But to answer your question, I don't know if they're still together or separated or divorced or whatever. Some very striking and pointed words from Secretary of State Antony Blinken in a visit to the UK, but he's talking about the situation with Israel and Hamas. He said changes need to be made with Israeli security forces after a U.S. citizen was killed during an anti-settlement protest in the West Bank. The IDF, in a report, says 26-year-old Eisner Ezgi was likely shot unintentionally by Israeli security forces. So here's what Secretary of State Antony Blinken had to say yesterday in the UK.
Now we have the second American citizen killed at the hands of Israeli security forces. It's not acceptable. It has to change.
I'm about to get into the debate stuff, okay?
Oh God. Oh no.
The warning is out there. And Joanna says we should do a break, and she's probably right about that.
Yeah, maybe.
Get ahead of this thing here, right? All right, we'll have the debate audio coming up in just a moment. So stand by. That's on the way.
Residents of several New Jersey towns have reportedly complained that they can smell a foul odor that is reminiscent of cat urine, as opposed to what it usually smells like, human urine.
The new Welcome to Connecticut sign now includes the words Pizza Capital of the U.S. Okay, I see what's happening. Nothing means anything anymore. You can just say whatever you want about your state. Great news, New York is now the home of the 1990 Chicago Bulls. 6-time NBA champions right there, and the birthplace of Gandhi.
McDonald's and Crocs are teaming up to offer a Happy Meal with a miniature Croc keychain. Yeah, it's the first time McDonald's and Crocs have teamed up since they released the McNugget.
While you're working away, we're working for you. Our job.
And don't forget irresistibly smooth and creamy custard. Get Bossed. Boss Tenders, Dogs, and Custard.
Live from the KLAQ studios, the Buzz Adams Morning Show. Courtesy of Glasheen, Vyas, and Inderman Personal Injury Lawyers at GVILaw.com.
All right, we're going to get back into sound clips today. This is the anniversary of the attack on the United States of 9/11. If you were alive and old enough, it's one of those things where you remember where you were, right?
Yeah,
you found out what was going on. Were you old enough to be in that category, Joanna, or were you a little too?
I was in the 7th grade.
7th grade.
Yeah.
On 9/11.
On 9/11.
And, all my life, my mom had told me there were 2 moments she'll never forget where she was. When she heard that the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor was one, and when she found out JFK had been shot. Well, that was before my time, but the 9/11, I definitely remember where I was and what I was doing. What'd they do at your school when you found out?
If you ask all of us, it was a great day because it was just a bunch of watching TV the whole morning.
Did you guys get, like, the significance of what was going on?
I don't think we fully understood what was happening.
Because you were kids.
Yeah, we were in middle school.
All right. I've got, this is from the Netflix series Turning Point, 9/11 of the War on Terror, which is a really good documentary series. Here's the beginning of the drama that unfolded 23 years ago, September 11th, 2001.
What a beautiful Tuesday morning it was. The sky was clear, it was blue, not a cloud in the sky. They call it severe clear. About 8 o'clock, American Flight 11 was fully fueled. It was bound for Los Angeles. It left Boston Logan Airport.
This is Boston. I tried American 20 left and I was going to climb him. He will not respond to me now. Looks like he's turning right.
Traffic controllers lost contact, but the hijackers used the Hudson River as its guide down to New York City.
What is your name?
Okay, my name is Betty Ong. I'm number 3 on flight 11. The cockpit's not answering. Somebody's stabbed in business class. I think there's mace that we can't breathe. I don't know. I think we're getting hijacked. First class galley flight attendant and our purser's been stabbed. And we can't get a cockpit. The door won't open. Somebody's calling medical, and we can't get a stop.
A day that changed not only America, but the world in so many different ways. Larry David is announcing that he's going out on tour. He's going to have a conversation with Larry David. And I've got the cities that he's coming to, and some of them are in Texas.
Now, he's not calling it stand-up, right?
He's calling it a conversation tour. Why is Larry David? I know Larry David started off as a stand-up,
right?
Yeah. So I think it'll be kind of a blended. Here he is describing it, but he says it might be a waste of your time, so maybe don't go.
Hello, I'm Larry David. Lucky me. So listen, there are some tickets going on sale for this thing I'm doing. It's really nothing. It'll be a total waste of your time. There's not that many things to do at night. But you could consider bowling. I haven't done it in about 50 years, but now that I mention it, I think I might hit the lanes soon. Anyway, if you want to go, you go. If you don't, you don't. Not a big deal either way. Okay.
A conversation with Larry David is going to be in Denver on September 20th. There are other cities. Phoenix on November 22nd. And Austin on December 4th. So, and other dates. You can check it out yourself. A fiery debate last night between Harris and Trump. There were a few moments where they cross-talked or talked over each other, but I thought for the most part, they handled that pretty well. I thought they very gently fact-checked the former president when they did fact-check him, and it was no more than 3 times. And he's going on he's spewing today about how it was 3-on-1 and how they ganged up on him.
So I have Pluto. I was able to watch Newsmax, America's Voice, The Blaze, and one other
that's all
MAGA
affiliated news sources,
right? And I was kind of looking at the talking points that we're going to come up with.
Hey, after the Biden debate, the next day I came in and said what was the truth. Biden got his ass kicked.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, they should report Trump for elder abuse from that debate.
So are you saying that you believe Trump got his ass kicked? You're saying you're a truth teller.
Yeah, I'm saying that I'm not going to sugarcoat it. So when I tell you all the reputable news, if you're not Newsmax or Breitbart or Fox News, you're saying that it was a bad night for Trump, maybe a
disaster.
Both candidates claim to be the one with the best plan to fix the economy, with former President Donald Trump claiming all Harris has is Joe Biden's plan.
She doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run.
From Haitian immigrants. Run, spot, run. Trump claimed that a large majority of people in polls say that he did a better job during his 4 years with the economy.
The polls say 80 and 85 and even 90% that the Trump economy was great, that their economy was terrible.
Harris said that the Trump administration resulted in a trade deficit.
Well, let's be clear that the Trump administration resulted in a trade deficit, one of the highest we've ever seen in the history of America.
They're bringing up this big point that they had on tariffs, and it was kind of like the only economic plan that Donald
Trump wants to
was
slap a 20% tariff on imported goods.
All across
as some
the
kind
board.
Of revenge. I mean, the way he describes it, for all the stuff that we've done for the rest of the world, he wants to charge a tariff. Well, that cost gets passed along to the consumer. That's just the way business is done.
All economists say that a 20% across the board tariff on all
and
imports,
he said higher for some countries.
Yeah,
even higher than 20%
would be disastrous.
Harris said the Trump administration sold computer chips to China. Here's that clip.
China.
Under Donald Trump's presidency, he ended up selling American chips to China to help them improve and modernize their military.
The topic of abortion led to a rare instance of both candidates speaking at the same time. Overall, I thought for the most part, they, you remember some of the debates.
I have a question.
I
have a question.
Yeah.
The mic was supposed to be muted, wasn't it? When each one was talking? Why didn't that happen? I'm not complaining against it or anything. I'm just mentioning it as a...
they kind of did mute them, but then they noticed when either one was talking, when the mic was muted, they would just turn the mic back on.
Oh, they did know. Oh, so you're saying that they did mute that?
They did, yeah. And then either Trump or Harris would start talking with the muted mic, so they would turn it on.
Ah, okay.
Anyway,
I noticed that.
The topic of abortion led to that case, a rare case where both candidates were speaking at the same time.
You should ask, will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask her that question?
Why don't you answer
That's
the question?
problem.
Would you
because
veto?
under Roe v. Wade,
Answer the question. Would you veto?
You could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th month,
not true.
and probably after birth.
Probably. That's a serious allegation to level, and the best you can say is probably they have abortions after. That's not called an abortion. That's called a homicide, right?
Yes.
Harris says the majority of Americans believe in a woman's right to make decisions about her own body.
The majority of Americans believe in a woman's right to make decisions about her own body.
Oh, okay. Well, that's exactly what she said. And then she started needling him on his rallies and that people are getting bored and leaving early. So that seemed to really sting him.
He talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
That had to
What a
get under
little
his-
needle.
But Trump was ready to fire back.
She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them.
So they either do go or they don't go, Donald. Oh, it was beautiful to watch. That was kind of really fun to watch her needle him and then him take the bait.
If I was surprised by anything, it's that Trump brought up this story that we first heard about from Cucker, who called in toward the end of the show. We didn't even get the call on the air, but you heard it. He was talking about this. J.D. Vance has been saying that people in Ohio are claiming that Haitian immigrants are eating their pets, their dogs and cats. I can't believe Trump brought this up during a presidential debate.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
So David Muir jumped in and he said ABC News has been in contact with the authorities and the city manager and said that the city manager says there have been no reports of pets being abducted or eaten. And this is Trump pushing back on that. He's got a pretty good rationale.
The people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from television.
But the people
I'm
on
taking it from
television
the
say
city
their
manager.
dog was eaten by the people that went there.
This seems like it's something that got started on the Nextdoor app and then just got blown out of proportion. The next thing you know, J.D. Vance is talking about. I'd be surprised if it comes out that there's a single case documented of a Haitian immigrant stealing somebody's pet and then eating it.
They're saying they might have killed some wild geese or local geese around.
Now,
like a
if
pond.
you're talking about that picture, it has a picture of somebody. That's a picture from 2021. So it doesn't have anything to do with what they're claiming.
I think this just goes to a bigger point that you heard Kamala Harris laughing to the side of it because it's so ridiculous. That and she even says when you bring this kind of rhetoric to a presidential debate, you are just lowering the standard, the conversation for everybody.
She really got him on this, and he did not kick back against it. That a bipartisan border security bill, Democrats and Republicans and independents drafted it, didn't pass because Trump got on the phone and told members of Congress, hey, don't give this to Biden. It'll be good for him and bad for me. Trump killed the most comprehensive border bill in 20 years.
Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress and said, kill the bill. He'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
He didn't deny that. He never said, I didn't do that. Or if he did, I didn't catch it. He didn't do it right then when it was the next time to speak. Let's
hold on. I thought that
we got to close. We got to close the segment, and we're going to do that by a little late night trio. Here's Jimmy Fallon, Colbert, and Jimmy Kimmel talking about the presidential debate.
Tonight was the first time Harris and Trump ever met. That's why Trump prepared for the debate by binge watching a season of Love is Blind.
After a rant defending his rallies, he said this.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats.
Let's call it time of crazy 9:31 p.m. Can we write that down on something, please?
Oh, this was a much better debate than the last debate. This is like the Lion King when Simba came back to avenge Mufasa.
Coming up after the Buzz Adams Morning Show, Glenn Garza and Daniel Paulus.
Is always the Rudolph. We're located at I-10 and Red Road. The only road, the Rudolph Road.
The Buzz Adams Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 5 to 10. KLAQ and KLAQ HD1, El Paso, a Town Square media station.
All right, Joanna is going to have the Hollywood Cheesemate coming up here in just a few minutes. A pretty surprising announcement out of Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters.
Is he endorsing Taylor Swift?
He's endorsing no.
Joanna, is your internet
let me
working?
know that
My internet?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah, my internet's working. We're using the same Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah, but sometimes
Sometimes it gets a little wonky.
Yeah, sometimes that doesn't matter.
There's two different ones.
I know.
Which one are
Your
you connected
internet
to?
is kind of like you.
The WAP?
Sometimes it works.
ELP.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Oh yeah.
You know, still so funny every time.
I'm gonna get to some more neckline calls. A lot of calls from people watching the debate. Have thoughts on that. Let me just play one.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you. But let me play one that just came in a moment ago.
It was an interesting debate last night. I'm sure it was an important factor for the less than 1% who hasn't made up their mind yet. But to be honest, what I want to know is, what kind of gun does Kamala Harris own? I mean, is it a KLAQ? Maybe a Mossberg shotgun, maybe like a lever action 30, maybe a hunting rifle. I want to know, what kind of gun does the vice president own?
I think he's referring to this moment from the speech. Here's a little bit of it.
She has a plan to confiscate everybody's gun.
President Trump,
she
we
has
do
a
have to
plan.
move. Tim Walz and I are both gun owners. We're not taking anybody's guns away. So stop with the continuous lying about this stuff.
I don't.
So I looked it up. In 2020, Kamala Harris, when she was running for president, talked about owning a gun. I can't find, the specific make and model other than it's a handgun.
I bet it's a lady handgun.
I don't know. She said during the 2020 primary that she kept a gun for the reason most people do, safety. I am a gun owner. I own a gun for personal safety. I was a career prosecutor. That is not unusual at all. If you're a prosecutor or if you're the district attorney, you get a badge. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to carry a gun, but a lot of them that I have known do, because
you get a badge.
Oh yeah, like even if you work in the DA's office, you get a badge. If you're an assistant DA. But I know a lot of people in that world who carry guns because they deal with criminals all the time.
Criminals.
Yes. We're going to have some tickets to give away for the Friday Chihuahuas game. Go at your own risk, because this Friday is Friday the 13th. Let's see. We're going to get into Joanna's Hollywood Cheesemake coming up here in just a few minutes. I want to talk about David Bowie, because David Bowie has a song on top of the charts. The country charts, that is.
Oh.
All right, you ready for this?
Sure.
David Bowie, who died 8 years ago, just got his first #1 country single. That is because Chris Young's song Young Love and Saturday Nights samples from Bowie, from the song Rebel Rebel.
Really?
Yep. You will recognize this. It is the #1 song on country airplay. It means that David Bowie now has the #1 song on the country charts. Would you like to hear a little bit of what it sounds like?
Yeah.
All right, so it starts off with Chris Young, and it's a slowed down version of the guitar riff from Rebel Rebel. Yes, I can play that guitar riff.
Thank you.
But then it mixes in the riff from the Bowie song, including David Bowie's vocals.
Oh.
Small towns that keep staying small. Here's to old trucks, young love, and Saturday night. Rebel, rebel, on your dress. Saturday night. Rebel, rebel, your face is a mess. Because your face is a mess. Young love and Saturday. Hot tramp, I love you so.
We mixed them together. We added the Bowie vocals. I don't know if they're on the country song or not, but he's definitely.
What's the country song called?
Young Love and Saturday Nights by Chris Young. #1 in the country. Hey, I've had a few inquiries about the casting call for the Haunted Houses of Terror. Can you just tell us about the casting call? We'll talk more about the haunted houses as it gets closer to, I believe, September. Do you remember the date?
September 27th.
September 27th. Both of the Haunted Houses of Terror are going to open, but we are filling out our roster. And look, you can make money. You get paid for this. It's good seasonal work.
Yeah.
Make a little cash, and it's fun as heck, you guys. I used to make it a practice every year. I would go in costume, whatever the theme was. So if it was like the Psycho Circus, I'd dress as a demented clown or whatever. And, man, it's so much fun. Just hiding and jumping out and scaring people. When is the casting call?
Casting call is tomorrow at Desert Warriors Paintball. That's out at 13900 Montana, starting at 6 p.m.
All right. Tomorrow night, right?
Tomorrow night.
Joanna's Hollywood Cheese Mess. Joanna's Hollywood Cheese Mess.
Joanna's Hollywood Cheese Mess.
Joanna, tell us more.
Here is Joanna Barba with our Hollywood and Entertainment Report. It's the Hollywood Cheese May. Good morning, Joanna.
Good morning, everybody. Casting is officially underway for the next generation's Harry Potter. HBO has confirmed the validity of a casting notice for the upcoming television reboot, seeking children residing in the UK and Ireland who will be between the ages of 9 and 11 in April of 2025 for the roles of Harry, Ron, and Hermione.
For what? Are they remaking the movies?
Yes, it's a show.
A TV show.
It's a TV show. The notice also says the casting will be inclusive to all races, ethnicities, and gender identities, and reads, quote, "We're committed to inclusive, diverse casting. For every role, please submit qualified performers without regard to ethnicity, sex, disability, race, sexual orientation, gender identity, or any other basis protected by law unless otherwise specifically indicated."
Sure, I wouldn't mind seeing an Asian Harry Potter.
Asian Harry Potter?
I want to remind you guys,
Harry Potter.
when the movies were still being churned out, there was one of them where a minor, I don't know if a minor character, I don't know my Harry Potter characters, but a minor character was portrayed by an African-American actress, and some people lost their minds over that.
Not cool with it.
Yeah, so what if you come out with a Asian Hermione or a transgender Ron Weasley?
Oh, he was already trans, to be honest.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't do that, like have one of the characters be trans just to troll J.K. Rowling at this point.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious. They're also encouraging applicants to read a poem or a short story of their choosing for camera. The series is described as a faithful adaptation of the book series featuring an entirely new cast, and each season will be tied to a specific book in the series, meaning the series will run for 7 seasons.
Can I put in to play Hagrid?
You should, yeah.
I'll get that role as long as Grizz from Kiss doesn't put in for the same role.
Yeah, they could use
perfect.
They could use a Mexican Hagrid.
Yes.
Or me. It's inclusive. It could be a skinny Hagrid.
Who's the skinny Hagrid?
Yeah, who's that?
Me.
You mean after you lose all the weight you have now?
Yeah, I'd start working out real hard, going Ozempic, obviously.
Somebody get this man some Ozempic.
Well, come on, I'm skinnier than Hagrid, right? The actor, Robbie Coltrane.
Yes, Buzz,
No,
of
you're
course.
not, dude. You're not
Nika.
skinny yet. Yeah, she's shaking her head.
Of course.
Is this, I believe it, a thing called love?
It is, yeah. A viral video of a pop superstar Taylor Swift and her NFL star boyfriend Travis Kelce singing along to The Darkness's hit "I Believe in a Thing Called Love" at the U.S. Open men's tennis final on Sunday has skyrocketed the song. The clip, which was shared on the official U.S. Open social media accounts, shows the power couple enthusiastically singing the tune. And as it turns out, Swift is a big fan of The Darkness, with the band's frontman Justin Hawkins revealing in his own TikTok video that he and his daughter were given the VIP treatment statement at Swift's show a few weeks back. As for the U.S. Open clip, Hawkins added, quote, "It was a really heartwarming moment for me and my little girl. Can't wait to tell her friends at school." So thanks, Taylor, and thanks, Travis. Thanks to the Taylor Swift effect, the 21-year-old song has soared to number 1 on the U.S. iTunes Rock chart.
Wow.
What?
Just because Taylor Swift sang
was
along
singing it.
to it.
How much power does she wield?
So much, Nico. So
Infinite.
much. Yeah.
Did you see the way they looked, Joanna, at the tennis match? Like, Travis Kelce was wearing an old school bucket hat. Like,
Bucket hats are back, man.
But a lot of people at tennis matches wear bucket hats.
But he looked like a 90s B-boy.
No, but like the whole style is back. Back when the track was initially released in 2003, it cracked the top 10 of the Billboard Modern Rock chart.
But just because Taylor Swift, not singing it, singing along to it, when they played it over the loudspeaker at the U.S. Open. Am I
Skyrocketed
getting
it.
that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And it went to number 1.
You nailed it, Buzz.
She just has to sing with another song in public.
And then everyone's like, what's this?
No.
No, she was just, singing along. Camera panned to her.
That's some power.
That's
there.
influence, yeah.
And everybody was like, what song is this? Amateurs. Well, congratulations go out to Dave Grohl, who has announced that he recently became the father of a new baby girl. He also added that this newborn was, quote, born outside of my marriage. Oh, Dave Grohl, you too?
Yeah, it sounds like somebody threw a monkey wrench.
Hey! That would have been a better one. Grohl wrote in a statement posted to his Instagram yesterday saying, quote, "I plan to be a loving and supportive parent to her. I love my wife and children, and I am doing everything I can to regain their trust and earn their forgiveness. We're grateful for your consideration toward all the children involved as we move forward together." Dave has 3 daughters with his wife, Jordan Bloom. His oldest daughter, Violet, is a touring member of Foo Fighters, but Violet has deactivated her Instagram account after the announcement. And everyone's saying the same thing. Oh, Dave Grohl, there goes my hero.
Oh.
Is his wife not going to get divorced because he had a baby out of...
No. That's the only statement that they've put out.
I guess
a new life has been born.
You either die the hero. You either die the hero or end up becoming the villain.
Oh, Dave.
Well, I mean, considering the situation, I guess he handled it about as good as you can. Hey, I'm going to support the child. I'm
right.
Acknowledge her, but
But he's
I
working
wandered
hard
off the reservation, so to speak.
Finally, Chester Bennington's son, Jamie, is still at it and said on his Instagram story that some Linkin Park fans have become aggressive towards him after he spoke out against Emily Armstrong becoming the band's new lead vocalist. Jamie criticized Armstrong's hiring due to her part with ties to Scientology and her previous support of Danny Masterson. Linkin Park will be playing a show today in Los Angeles, which Jamie says he plans to attend amid the harassment from fans. He wrote on Instagram saying, quote, "There are a lot of people who do not like me. There are a lot of people saying some really awful stuff right now. To be honest, I don't think I feel safe going to the show under general admission because I don't know who I'm around. I don't know who would recognize me or take it upon themselves.
Boy, this guy is really making it all about him, isn't he?
But I do need to see it." He says that a lot of Linkin Parks have been cruel, unusual, and aggressive.
Linkin Park fans.
Linkin Park fans, yeah. And in a follow-up statement, he wrote, "While attending the show, please do not harass me or my partner. Respectfully, we are attending for closure. If anything happens to me or my partner while we're attending this concert, it is on Linkin Park."
What?
That's what he's saying.
Yeah, this guy sounds bitter, almost like he thought he should have got the lead singer job.
You know what? I did not think about that.
Is he a musician?
I don't know. I didn't even know how old he was.
I
until
didn't
a
know
while
anything
ago.
about him until the story yesterday that he's pissed off about Linkin Park getting a new lead singer. His
guess
dad
he
died
does
7 years ago.
Wait, he's going to the Linkin Park concert.
And he says if anybody harasses me or my partner,
the band's
it's on
fault.
Linkin
It's the
Park.
band's fault.
Dude.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's weird.
He is 28 years old, but I did not consider maybe he kind of was wanting the role of lead singer.
Well, I don't know if he's an aspiring
I don't know
singer
if
or
he
not,
is
but it
either,
sounds like
but-
somebody who has a real a real axe to grind.
Right. So he said it. And with your entertainment news, I'm Joanna Barba.
Hey, also that Darkness song that Taylor Swift was singing along to, how it shot up in the charts after she sang and along to it. The KLAQ was in the early 2000s. I remember because I was in high school. That's all you would hear every 2-3 songs. It was the Darkness. It was touching you. That was his little slightly voice. But yeah, dude, KLAQ put that song out there and jammed it down our throats, just like the afternoon DJs would jam 5-finger death punch down our throats before Jelly Roll came out.
Wait, what did he say at the end?
You say just the way that they now jam 5-finger death punch down our throats.
Oh, that's funny.
As we go into the commercial break, we're going to be listening to 5-Finger Death Punch.
Artist interviews, new music discoveries, celebrating artists' birthdays, commemorating releases, champion of all things rock.
Cassie Ashton, September 28th. Get your tickets today at epwayoutwest.com or the Plaza Theater box office.
Broadcasting from El Paso for El Paso. The Buzz Adams Morning Show on 95.5 KLAQ.
I thought we'd get a few phone calls going. We got more neckline calls than we've been able to play the last 2 days. So maybe I'll catch up on some of those. And then Joanna is gonna have a little pop quiz for me.
Oh.
What's the quiz about, Joanna?
Text abbreviations. Do
Right.
you text regularly with your daughter?
Yeah, for sure. Remind me after the show. She's got early release today. I got to get out here and go pick
Yeah,
her up.
you don't want her to get mad.
Do you remember last week?
Oh, she was so
my
upset.
Yeah, because you
God.
forgot.
Can I
just
play
showed her,
Joanna?
And do you know what she said to me
What'd
when I
she
got
say?
there? I was about 30 minutes late. What do you think she said?
Where the hell were you?
Bruh.
Bruh. Come on, bruh.
As someone who is texting in a group chat with my nephews, I constantly get roasted because what does that mean?
Now, originally, I was going to give the quiz to Joanna, but I read a couple of them. I said, no, it's going to work a lot better if you give it to me.
And if you have any Gen Z children out there or Gen Alpha, this could be beneficial to you too, so you can know what your kids are saying.
Nico, you can play along.
Okay.
Yes, Nico, of course.
I read one time somebody was writing, and the topic was text abbreviations, and they said, I thought for a couple of years that LOL was short for lots of love.
Lots of love.
So I would respond on Facebook or whatever, somebody's grandparents and grandpa had passed away, and I would write, so sorry to hear that, thinking about you, LOL.
Oh, no.
Thinking about you, love.
Lots of love. But, you know.
No.
I wondered why nobody ever responded to me when I would write that.
Oh, boo.
So maybe it pays to know your text abbreviations. Also, one of our very regular listeners has written an official apology to somebody on the show.
Don't read that.
Don't read it?
No, Derek. No, Derek's fine.
I thought you would want me to read it.
Why?
Because people have been telling him that he's been too mean to you. And then yesterday on the air, or Monday on the air, you said, Derek, yesterday you wrote back to him and said, why are you so hateful? Or the hate is strong with you today. And
yeah, that was all private.
I guess you made him feel bad.
That was all private.
No
What are you
privacy
doing?
on this show.
Well.
None.
Well, Buzz put it out there already.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I put it out there.
It's a lovely apology.
Well, I wouldn't say that you help diminish any hate.
Toward you?
Yeah, you definitely amplify it all. So,
not hate.
Buzz is trying to shame you.
I'm trying to shame you into good
work
behavior.
On time. And I
Right.
told him that doesn't work on you.
It certainly doesn't.
We have to think
like
of
there's
different
nothing
approaches.
I can say that would make you show up like 30 minutes before the show starts.
No.
Now, that sounds like an insane proposition.
Yeah.
Right?
So just stop.
Joanna and I both get here way before the show starts.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
You remind me of Joe, also known as Not Sure in Idiocracy. At the beginning.
Not sure.
He's
I'm
like,
Dax.
I don't, not Dax Shepard.
Oh, you mean
Luke Wilson?
Luke Wilson.
Luke Wilson, you sure?
Right. At the beginning, he's like, I don't know. The commanding officer told me to either lead, follow, or get out of the way. So I got out of the way.
Got out of the way.
And the other soldier goes, I think he was trying to shame you into either leading or following.
That's what I told you when you told me that, remember?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good example.
Buzz and I have talked about this.
But now it's just hateful.
I told you that doesn't work either. God, Buzz. We
Yeah.
think of different ways.
Listen, me and my grandpa are fixing to sit down and watch this debate. Grandpa's trying to teach me how to chew tobacco, make a man out of me, I suppose. But anyway, my grandpa has a prediction. He says that Donald Trump is going to wipe the floor with the vice president. He's convinced that Donald Trump has been in many fights and Kamala has not. And he's convinced that Donald Trump is going to shine in this debate. It might be the deciding factor in the election. That's my grandpa's prediction. And his chewing tobacco is terrible. Terrible. Makes me sick. Thank you.
Wait, you're not your grandpa?
I know,
I thought he was
Sir,
a grandpa.
Respectfully, you sound like the grandpa.
Yeah. That's the same guy that does the grandpa voice, isn't it?
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
Boy, how
That's
did that work
hilarious.
out? A few other calls, some of them related to last night's action, and some not.
Hey, you guys, I had a question for you guys, since I know you have two sister stations. I know you have ESPN 600 with Mr. Steve Capo. Your last name's harder to pronounce than Kamala's first name. No, I'm just kidding, Steve. But anyways, and I know you guys got 93.1 KISS FM. But anyways, but the whole point of this phone call here, fellas, is that when you guys go to commercial.
Is this 5 points, guys?
Yeah.
All right.
I switch over to 93.1. And either they're on a commercial break too, or they're playing some Taylor Swift, girly Ariana Grande song that I don't really care for much. Like, not to be rude, I respect, I have a lot of respect for people. I have a lot of respect in general, right? But for Iris and Grizz, I mean, wouldn't it be a good idea for them, like their commercial break not to be the same time as you guys, so that they get a little bit more listeners, or people tune in more to their show? Because let me tell you something. I've tried tuning into their show at least 24 times. And every time I'll hear them talk for like 15, 20 seconds, and then boom, song. And then I don't like the music KISS FM plays. I mean, I'm not.
Then don't listen.
You don't have to listen to that 5 points, guys.
First of all,
it's a different format
They
completely.
do have a very different format from us. Yeah.
I am not going to speak ill of the KISS Morning Show because so far we're getting along pretty good.
Yeah, they're great.
Right.
Yeah. But we don't coordinate when we take the commercial breaks.
Right. We're not sitting together like, okay, we're going to go at a commercial break.
So I've got
what he's talking about of listening for a little bit and then talk. They don't do long talk breaks.
No, they don't.
There are more music, I believe, format. I haven't listened to them.
The most that they'll talk, Joanna, how much do you know?
Like 4 to 6 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
I know that because Grizz told me, he's like, oh, we were listening to your show the other day. You guys talk a lot. I don't know. Yeah, it's a morning show. What do you guys do? And he's like, we only talk for like 46 minutes and then it's either a break or a song.
God, that sounds awesome.
You know what? I respect. Actually,
and I tell them like that.
I've done a
way
show like
harder.
that. I've done the show when we first started off. We played 5 or 6 songs an hour at the very beginning. That's harder.
It does sound harder.
It is harder than talking as much.
Because
as we do.
I don't know if you've ever been into the KISS studio, and Iris has like all these little sticky notes on her board, and it's kind of like 4 to 6 minutes only. Remember, talk breaks are only 4 to 6 minutes. Yeah. And they're like really timing themselves.
No coordination goes on. But so for listening to the news, I have 3 of the networks kind of that I punch back and forth. It's MSNBC and CNN and Fox. And I noticed the same thing. It's like if one of them's in a commercial break, they're all in a commercial break. Or at least that's the way it seems like to me. But we're not checking on each other to find out if we're in a commercial break.
No, we don't coordinate that way.
President of the United States to be
El Paso, are you watching this debate? Are you watching it? Let me turn it down. Look at how freaking evil Trump looks. Look at his demeanor, his little grin, his eyes. Look at his demeanor, and look at how much emotion and passion he puts into the question. It's dry. It's basically it's a con artist trying to con his way back in again. And I know Kamala. I know she isn't the best option either, but when you ask her questions, look at how sincere she looks. Look at how much passion and empathy and thought and heart and soul she puts into her answer when she's responding to the question. It's a night and day difference, El Paso.
Do you agree with that? Did Trump look evil? He looked, I got to say, and listen, they were picking on Joe Biden for this for so long, and, I thought it was kind of, he looked so old, and he looked tired.
That's what I told my sister. My sister was like, he looks mad, and I'm all, yeah, because he's the old one now.
So they did a split screen of both.
He was glowering. I don't know if you know that word, glowering at this.
Can I finish a statement?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So they did the split screen, and he did some things where he would know that the camera was on him, and he would almost stare at the camera.
My nephew said he was mewing at the camera.
Mewing at the camera.
What's mewing?
Whatever she said.
What does that mean?
I still didn't fully understand what it was.
Maybe that's like a Gen Z term that we don't know.
Oh, yeah. Is that in our quiz?
When we go into our quiz.
Mewing. It's a technique that involves pressing the tongue against the roof of the mouth, which is said to improve facial structure and jawline.
Oh. And then my nephew kind of did a face. It was hilarious.
Did I do it?
You kind of did it right.
Yeah.
Anyways, but did you notice? And then he had like this scowl, like he would just look into the camera, and that kind of looked not evil, but it looked serious. Like,
can I just say, like, I love the debates and stuff because the memes that come from them,
they're so good.
Amazing.
Like, what's
today,
the best one?
Marked safe from my pet beaten eaten today.
Did you like mine? I do radio memes. They're just things I say on the radio.
How come nobody responded to my text last night?
I didn't get one.
The live tweeting. I sent it to you. I thought we were all going to live tweet.
I know.
I don't know. I just can't get into it when it's like a little short video or a picture or something. I don't know. I just can't.
You didn't send one to me.
Uh-oh. Who the hell did I send it to?
Your other Nicholas.
No, Nico Jimian.
It looks like a picture of Donna Smeagol with some text that's too small for me to read. That's what I saw.
It says, I'm live tweeting this dumbass conversation.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, some people really live by the memes. They don't speak to me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the cat memes are great right now. The cat and dog memes.
Yeah.
Have you seen the one where Trump is surrounded? Famously, a man who doesn't own any pets. It's well known that he's never owned a dog or a cat.
That's weird,
He doesn't
right?
like them. Now he's the defender of pets because of some stupid urban legend.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what's he holding? A cat or dog?
He's got several cats.
Yeah,
like he's
I've
surrounded
seen,
by
AI
cats.
images.
I haven't seen that one, but I've seen the one where he's
I'm gonna find one
holding
for you.
a duck, like he's protecting a duck. It was an interesting debate. I was telling Buzz, Joanna, I kind of want to go back and watch it again.
Go right ahead. Moving on here. Here's another call this one is from yesterday.
Hey, you were talking about Ronald Reagan, that new movie. Apparently it's
Were we?
number 3.
We were talking about the Gipper. We were talking about the Gipper and Newt Rockney.
But we weren't talking about the new movie with...
no, but we were talking about Reagan. But
what's the dude's name?
Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that one. We were talking about Newt Rockney, All-American.
That new movie. Apparently it's number 3. It's doing very well. Speaking of Ronald Reagan, I have a request. Could you play that joke, that age issue he made at that debate with Walter Mondale? What was his name? The Mondale debate, yeah, the age joke. All right.
Well, I don't have it handy, but I remember it. So Ronald Reagan was a few years older than Walter Mondale. I know that seems impossible, but yes. Both of these old-timey politicians. And during their first debate, Reagan said, let me do my best. I will not allow age to become a factor. I will not exploit my opponent for his youth and inexperience. Got a big laugh. Mondale laughed. That was back in the days when the presidential candidates were respectful of each other. And you had an idea that, well, no matter who wins, they're going to do what they think is best. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No matter who wins, they're going to do what they think is best for the United States. And then they shake hands and their families to get together. You know when I think Kamala first got Trump kind of back on his heels? When she walked over to him at the very beginning, shook his hand, and introduced herself. I'm Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
Oh, that threw him off. Oh, yeah.
I think that threw him off.
The mental warfare right there. He's all like, shook my hand.
Well, because she was direct. She was not cowering.
Yeah,
she was not.
She wasn't. Hillary didn't shake his hand. He didn't shake her hand either. But I don't think Biden shook his hand at either one of the debates, at least not that I can recall, because it's become so ugly and so vile. Mainly because of him, let's face it. But I think when she walked over and extended her hand, that caught him off guard a little bit. If you did not watch the debate last night, you might be the lucky one, but we've got a 45-second recap. This will really give you the gist of what happened last night.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets.
You talk about extreme.
And everybody's laughing at it, okay? They're all laughing at it. Wait a minute. I'm talking now. Does that sound familiar?
Well, I think this is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted.
Oh, he's a criminal. And have built it into many, many billions of dollars. Many, many billions. Billions and billions. Hundreds of billions of dollars.
So Donald Trump has no plan for you.
She doesn't have a plan. And it's like 4 sentences.
Let's compare the plans. I have a plan.
I don't care. I couldn't care less. All I can say is I read where she was, that she put out.
Thank you for watching. Good night.
So we're going to have this quiz about text abbreviations. We'll have that on the way. More of the Buzz Adams Morning Show is headed your way right after this.
Music news, concert updates, song and album factoids, and of course, nothing but El Paso's best rock.
Flexibility and personalized support that can help you go back to school successfully. So, what are you waiting for? Apply today at wgu.edu.
Live from the KLAQ studios, the Buzz Adams Morning Show. Courtesy of Glasheen, Vyas, and Inderman Personal Injury Lawyers at GVILaw.com.
All right, we'll get to news. How about this, Nico? The debate stuff we'll leave for its own segment later because people are still calling in and stuff.
Okay.
I mean, you can bring it up in the news, but
you don't want me to make the whole news about it.
Yeah, right. Because I'll do a segment with phone calls and stuff. And, it was a pretty wild ride last night. That is crazy that he just goes with these rumors that are completely unconfirmed about Haitian immigrants.
Like, who would go to a debate with that? Yeah.
That's the kind of thing you post on Truth Social. Not something a former president of the United States says that Haitians are eating your cats. And then when David Muir called him out on it, it's like, well, I saw people on television saying it.
They're talking about it.
Debate aside, David Muir, hottie, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so zaddy right there.
I've been watching David Muir.
I'll say Lindsay Davis. All right, how about
Her too.
I've been watching
Them shoulder
David
pads are
Muir
great.
since he was on overnight. Like he was the middle of the night newscaster on ABC. He'd be on when I would get up to go to work. So that was really early in David Muir's career, and I had him picked out as a big network star.
Oh, he's very poised. He sounds like
hottie.
professional. He's a hottie. But right now, Donald Trump is demanding that ABC lose its news license.
He went on Fox News. He claimed that everybody says he won the debate. It was his best debate ever. Everybody knows it. Everybody's saying it. And also that ABC should be stripped of his license.
Right.
Because of the job they did. Because they fact-checked him and said, we called the city manager of Springfield, and he says, no reports of Haitians.
What do you think about the fact-checking? Was that too
I thought
much?
It was very gentle. I mean, when they checked him, so for instance, Lindsay Davis, at one point, when Trump was talking about abortions
And
happening after the baby's been born, she simply said, there's no state in this country where it is legal to murder an infant.
Right.
It's
a talking point for him.
Right. That was the extent of the fact check, and he wants to, I can see this guy be very suspicious whenever a political leader or wannabe leader blames the press for everything, when they pick out scapegoats, and if, immigrants or whatever, but when they go after a free and open press, that person is got designs on being kind of a dictator.
I don't know if anybody was watching the point where Kamala Harris really needled Donald Trump so well, and she said, I've been around the world as vice president, and they are laughing at Donald Trump. World leaders are laughing at Donald Trump.
There's video of it. There's video of when he was in office. He walked away, and Boris Johnson and Princess Margaret and all these other people in the UK, they started laughing about him. They have video of that.
Well, then Donald Trump shoots back, and he goes, Viktor Orban, a very well-respected president of...
says that I'm awesome. And Vladimir Putin has a lot. Kim Jong-un.
Joanna, he goes with this.
He names all the worst dictators in
Viktor
the world.
Orban, the president of Hungary, and then even in the debate, he goes, a strong man, I guess they call him.
Hit me with a few of these. I want to see how it's going to go.
Some of the
text abbreviations. Yeah.
Well, I think we all know already. SMH, POV.
Shaking my head, point of view.
NSFW.
Not safe for work.
FOMO.
Fear of moving out. Fear of moving out. That's what Nico has. Fear of moving out of his parents' house.
He
doesn't live with his parents.
You live... Okay. All right, we're splitting hairs here, but okay.
But, Buzz, do you know IYKYK?
What?
Y.
IY.
This is one I actually use a lot. IYKYK.
If you know, you know?
If you know, you know, and it looks like you do
There you
know.
I just
go.
figured that one out. I didn't know that one. I just sussed it out. Or maybe I've seen it, and subconsciously I was
For
able to.
sure, yeah. But then my nephew kind of threw me for a loop with this one. IIRC.
IIRC.
Nico, any guesses? IIRC.
If I
really care?
If I really care. Yeah.
That's a good guess, actually, and you got part of it right. It's if I recall correctly.
If I recall correctly.
Because my question was hey, bro, did you throw out the trash today? And his response,
IIRC, I did.
yeah.
Like
and I'm
that?
all, in what instance do you use that in real life? You do not say if I recall correctly.
Unless you're under oath in front of a grand jury.
Right.
If I recall correct, I can't recall.
How about TTYL?
Talk to you later.
Oh, good job, you guys.
My kid's other grandpa uses that one, but he uses it in conversation. TTYL, like he
and
says it to the kids. Yeah,
I tell them TTFN.
TTFN, yeah, he does that one too.
Ta-ta
for now. Right.
How about NGL?
Not gonna lie.
Not gonna
lie. Good one.
I think I'd seen that one before.
And then how about HMU?
HMU.
Hit me up.
Hey,
Yeah?
ding, ding, ding. I wish I had a bell. I left it in the other room.
We got other bells.
You can get my dinky one.
We do not have a bell shortage here, that's for sure.
Nico got me one. It was nice.
Boy,
but it's in the other room.
that's what you get for getting your bells from Temu.
And how about FWIW?
None of these have a bad word in them, do they?
No.
From what wait, what was it again?
FWIW.
From what I wrote, I don't.
Wait, say it again.
FWIW.
Fracking will increase
wealth.
Waste.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that one is.
Nice. Good guesses, guys. Unfortunately, none of them were wrong.
None of them are wrong?
I mean, none of them are right. FWIW is for what it's worth.
What it's worth. There's something happening here.
Oh, somebody's writing into the app chat their own.
Oh.
IJBOL.
I just blew.
Stop. IJ what?
BOL.
I just blew.
Right. That's where your mind goes,
Yes.
right? We've been in the gutter so long.
I just burst out laughing.
Oh, okay.
Save some letters and put LOL.
Now, if you're scrolling through Instagram, TikTok, anything like that, and you see this one, what do you think it means? OOTD.
Out of the office. Out of the office?
OOTD.
Oh.
Out of the dentist?
Out of the den?
Outfit of the day.
Outfit of the day.
Never heard of that.
It's when they want to show off that fit.
Oh, it's a chick thing then.
No, I've seen guys do it too.
Yeah, it's still a chick thing.
And I think you know some other ones like TBH.
To be honest.
Yeah, LMAO.
Laugh my ass off.
And this one, my nephews thought they were slick, and I'm all, we've been using this one for a long time already. AFK.
Ask.
AFK.
We've been using this one for a long time?
We've been using this one for a long time.
AFK.
I remember using this one on Instant Messenger.
Away from keyboard.
Away from keyboard.
Get out of here.
Yes. You never used that when you know.
That was
first
for AIM.
Hell yeah, it was for AIM.
Also in the app chat, somebody says oomph. OOMF.
My nephew used that not too long ago. But what did it mean?
The OO makes me think it's out of. I don't know.
One of my friends or one of my followers.
Oh, yes.
One
of
my
followers.
followers.
Because my nephew used that, and I'm like, where do you have followers?
Your nephew has followers?
Yeah, apparently he has a YouTube channel.
Who,
Check out
Peanut?
No.
Oh.
How many people are subscribed?
I have no idea, but I keep telling him, hey, watch out. And I think we've about got them all
Yeah, we
done.
got to take a break. We'll have news headlines coming up right after this.
Find out what's going on. Quirky facts about our region. Urgent things you need to know impacting your drive. And of course, nothing but El Paso's best rock.
Wines available for tasty craft vendors, live music, and Southwestern food. For more info, go to laviniawinery.com.
The Buzz Adams Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 5 to 10. KLAQ and KLAQ HD1, El Paso, a Town Square media station.
Okay, let's hear it.
It begins
now.
And with our top stories of the day, news headlines, here's Nico Ajibia. Good morning, Nico.
Good morning, everybody. Well, to start off, a quarter of millennials and Gen Z are now saying finances are why they aren't having kids. Taylor Swift.
Well, I don't think finances, I don't buy that from her.
About 1 in 4 Gen Z and millennial adults say in a new survey that they will not be having children, and the reason is cold, hard cash. A new survey from Mass Mutual claims 23% of adults ages 18 to 43 plan to remain childless because they are concerned about their ability to afford children.
For most of the 80s and 90s, I can remember conservatives saying about kids, if you can't feed them, don't breed them. And now Republicans are calling you childless cat ladies if you don't have kids.
Yeah.
Which is it, guys?
Right.
If you can't breed them, if you can't feed them, don't breed them, or you're childless cat ladies. That's all I wanted to say.
Oh.
I'll dip out for the rest of the news.
Thanks.
I'll just let you go ahead.
Many also claim that they like the financial freedom of not having kids. It's the first survey from MassMutual to ask millennials and Gen Z adults their reasons for not having the kiddos. So it's not clear if it's a trend. People over 50 were most likely to say that they never had kids because it just didn't happen. And Joanna?
Yeah.
I don't know, is that one of the reasons we're not having kids?
Yeah. I can't afford them.
Yeah, that's a big reason. Also, I don't have...
Also, can you imagine? I don't think I'd be a great mother. I'm barely a good aunt.
You're a good dog owner. I don't know. Is that the same?
Yeah, right?
You
I just got a puppy.
You just got a puppy a couple weeks ago,
Yeah.
though, right?
I think it's going well.
Oh, good. All right. Well, moving on. Southern California is battling not one, but three massive and rapidly moving wildfires early this week. Evacuation orders were being issued as the blazes imperil thousands of homes and vital state infrastructure. The three fires, the Line Fire in San Bernardino County, the Airport Fire in Orange County, and the Bridge Fire in Los Angeles are all being fueled by extremely dry vegetation, and they're spreading fast. Firefighters from throughout the state, as well as National Guard members, have been called in to battle them. Here is Cherie Richardson telling NBC LA they're staying put while the wildfires approach.
You are potted up before you ask.
I am?
Yes.
From far away.
I wasn't, was I?
Obviously, the wind it could feed the flames and bring it our way. We can still have to evacuate, and we have been told to evacuate, but we feel we have our animals and we want to take care of them, and we feel safe. I mean, we're going to put our human lives first, obviously.
You gaslighting bastard.
It's not
deafening.
It is not gaslighting if you believe the thing to be
It's not
true.
gaslighting if he actually did forget.
Anyways, lots of fires. California Governor Gavin Newsom said in a statement, "We're pouring our resources into this incident aggressively." This is on top of nearly 2,000 firefighters, 200 engines, and air assets we already have tackling the fires. And Hurricane Francine will be making landfall. Who picks these names?
Francine?
Yeah, like where was Francine on a list of hurricane names?
They just go on the alphabet and they're like, what name starts with an F?
I know they go alphabetically.
They just start naming.
Do you know they used to be, until kind of recently, only female names? Like hurricanes were only named after
Ida or Katrina.
And then they changed it, and I can't tell you exactly when they did, but it was like, why do you only name hurricanes after women? So they started adding dudes.
I knew a girl named Rita in college, and everybody called her
Hurricane Rita.
Yeah, because she would just tear through dudes.
I wonder if the really?
Yeah.
Here comes Hurricane Rita.
Yeah.
I wonder if the popularity of a name like, for instance, Katrina has gone down after
like
a terrible...
People don't name their babies that anymore.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know.
Well, once the storm makes landfall, Francine is forecast to move up towards Mississippi tonight and early tomorrow. And then it's expected to weaken. The storm is expected to bring storm totals, a total rainfall of 4 to 8 inches with local amounts of a foot across most of Louisiana and Mississippi. And the search continues for that shooter who wounded 5 people off the highway of I-75 in Kentucky.
Where did this guy go? He might... God.
Don't know, but Jeff Couch is a 32-year-old man who texted his ex-wife stating his intent to kill a lot of people and then himself. Well, he hasn't been found as of last night. What are the
Maybe he
chances
found a
he's
real
dead?
good hidey hole and
killed himself.
And killed himself.
Searchers
but I'm sure they got bloodhounds out there, right?
Or a gang of them, like a bloodhound gang.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Jimmy Pop.
Searchers have been combing through an expansive area of rugged and hilly terrain near where the shooting occurred north of London, Kentucky. There's nothing to suggest he slipped away, though, said Master Trooper Scotty Pennington. Pennington also addressed the possibility of Couch already being dead. He says, some people say, what if he's not alive anymore? Well, we're going to stay in the woods until we find him. That's our job. If he's dead or alive, it's our job to find out.
Oh man, this is like a personal story, so I don't know if I want it, and it involves suicide, so it might be a little dark.
Oh my God.
Is it relevant?
Kind of relevant.
Okay, let's go.
Do you think you could? He can't wait.
I knew a guy. No, I didn't know him well, but an acquaintance who committed suicide.
Oh my God.
And what they did was they went out in the woods someplace and climbed up a really, really tall tree and shot themselves, but they had tied themselves because they didn't want anybody to find the body, or that it would just be bones by the time anybody ever found out what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, that's dark, right? So maybe this guy did follow.
Are you okay?
Yeah, like I say, I mean, not a super close friend but an acquaintance for sure. Somebody I was friendly with.
I used to tell Buzz when I was living with him that I would do it so that it would be very inconvenient for him. Like he would have to push my body out of the way,
or I'd have to,
We shouldn't laugh at this.
I know. It's national. It's
I
national.
Have to go all sunshine clean.
It's suicide prevention
so
month. Yeah. So maybe not joking about this is probably a good thing. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Atlanta's airport was the scene of a collision between two Delta jet airliners yesterday, with the larger of the two planes knocking the tail off of another one.
On the runway?
On the runway.
Yeah, because if that happens in air,
that's
game
it.
over.
That's the ball game, right?
Game over, man.
Delta said the wing of a Delta Airbus, it's not a Boeing this time, a Delta Airbus A350 that was bound for Tokyo hit the tail of a smaller Bombardier CRJ 900 that was on an adjacent taxiway.
Like a Bombardier?
That's the name of it's the type of plane, dude. It's a smaller one.
Does it drop bombs?
Okay. Anyways, according to audio archives, the air traffic controller tower noticed the damage to the smaller craft, saying, I just noticed that tail of the RJ is missing. So Endeavor 5526, hold your position, and do you require immediate assistance? No immediate assistance, the pilot answered. We'll need a tow, though. No injuries were reported due to the incident, and passengers were rebooked on other flights that departed later that afternoon. But God, I got to tell you, if I was in a plane, especially with all the Boeing things going on and just like...
Oh, I'm flying this weekend for the first time in a couple of years.
Well, it must make you a little nervous. I know it's still the safest form of transportation.
I don't fly by choice. I mean, I avoid, but it's not that. It's everything all together. I'd just rather get in a car and go when I want to go,
Yeah.
And I love driving.
You do enjoy driving, don't you? Do we have to take a break anytime soon?
We do. We're coming up on a break right now. You want to stop for a minute?
Yeah.
All right. It is the anniversary of 9/11, the attacks of 9/11. We're going to mention that throughout the morning, but we'll be back with more of the news coming up.
The Daily Calendar. It is the 11th of September. It's National Make Your Bed Day. It's the only day of the year you have to make your bed. That's the rules. It's also something called No News is Good News Day. And remember libraries? It's Libraries Remember Day. To remind us that libraries are a place of learning and books and stuff. And of course, it's Patriots Day. So that we never forget those we lost on 9/11. That's your daily calendar.
I'm Daniel Paulus, and whether you're wrapping up your workday, the Oscar Audienta insurance that's affordable and protects your valuables. Request a quote, OscarAudientaAgency.com.
Local and loco.
Don't you know I'm loco?
The Buzz Adams Morning Show. 95.5 KLAQ.
All right, we're going to get back into our remaining news headlines.
Yeah, just a couple.
Check out the AfterBuzz. So Nico hit me with like 25 historical facts.
They're
or
bizarre
trivia.
facts. Bizarre historical facts, yeah.
Check that one out. And they're about history. A lot of Civil War in there. How many of them was I able to expound upon?
He's so impressed with his own intelligence.
Yeah. Like he would bring it up.
I would bring up a fact, and he would be like, "Oh, do you want me to get this one, Nico?"
Oh yes, the Bader Meinhof group. Yeah, of course I know what that is. Yeah, go listen to that podcast, and you will believe that I am a genius.
Anyways, it's going to be a series because I found a list of 115 or 120 of these facts, and Buzz was like, "We can't do more.
We can't do 100 of
20
them.
or 25 in one." So every after Buzz until we finish them, we'll be that.
Also, I've started a series I started last week. It's how the streets in El Paso got their name. So I started with Saul Kleinfeld. We found out Saul Kleinfeld was a businessman.
A businessman.
He and his wife moved down here from the East Coast, and they were going to move to California, but they settled in El Paso because they had a steak dinner in Juarez for only 35 cents.
And that
well, he was also
struck the...
He was El Pasoan of the Year in 1968, and they named Saul Kleinfeld after him.
It was really that 35-cent steak, though.
That was what capped it off. But I'm writing about the guy that they named Donovan Drive after. That was like a part of history I had no idea, and there's so many fascinating things about Colonel Alexander Donovan.
Oh,
that as soon as Nico posted, I'm going to let everybody know to read it because it's super, super fascinating. I'm really proud of these local street name articles.
Colonel
Alexander Donovan participated in the Mormon Wars.
The Mormon Wars of 1832.
Oh, okay, I'll throw one out for you. So they arrested in Missouri when the Mormons, they didn't start off in Utah. They migrated to Utah. And one of their stopping points was Missouri. Well, the military governor there had Joseph Smith, the founder of Mormonism, and some of his top elders in the church arrested and ordered Alexander Donovan, the guy that Donovan's named after, to summarily execute them. Now, Donovan, who prior to that had been a practicing attorney and a member of the Kentucky State Legislature, refused to do it and wrote back to his commanding officer, "If you kill these men, I will see you tried in front of an earthly tribunal, so help me God."
And did he?
He did. He let him go.
Snap.
Eventually, the townsfolk broke in and lynched or killed Joseph Smith, but he refused to summarily execute the founder of the Mormon religion, and to this day, he is held in high regard by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Maybe even by the Mormon wives, the lives of Mormon wives, chicks.
The secret lives.
The secret lives of Mormon wives.
Actually, there's a big Mormon church right off Donovan. I wonder if they even know that history.
It's called a temple.
I can't call it a church
or a
or a tabernacle.
Let's finish on with the news. I got to tell you about our dining deal because we ate at La Posta in Old Mesilla on Monday, and you want to talk about history. That place is loaded with history. First of all, it's a former house that was built in the 1850s. There's a chance that Colonel Donovan might have even stopped along the way. It was also a stagecoach
stop, right?
Stop, yep.
The post, that's where the
La Posta comes from, but
it was pre-bellum. It was even before the.
Most people say antebellum.
Hey, did you hear when I said I had traffic?
No, I did not. I must have been out of the room. Well, this must be important. Down in Donovan. And here is Joanna Barba with a traffic update. Good morning, Joanna.
Good morning. We got an accident blocking the 3 right lanes on I-10 East at Porfirio Diaz and Franklin. That's exit 18B. Traffic is stop and go, so expect delays and find an alternate route like the Border West Expressway if you are heading in that direction. Again, that's I-10 East at Porfirio Diaz and exit 18B.
All right. Thank you, Joanna.
Hey, good morning again. Hey, you know what? This debate, I felt so bad for Donald Trump. It's like watching a boxing match and you're just like, yeah, yes, to watching a boxing match, you're like, yes, to yeah, but he's dead. Leave him alone, right? I know he's a horrible human being, but I just kind of want to reach in and give him a hug. Bro, it's okay. Hey, you suck. But she basically did to him what he did to Biden.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I mean... Yeah, that's the truth. The same the same sources that are saying Trump lost this debate said Trump won the last debate with Biden.
And, she might not have the best policy, but she sure as hell looked a lot better than he did on that stage, man. That was crazy.
All right.
Pobrecito, man.
Pobrecito. All right, back to news. What else is happening?
I'm going to get to a couple of app chat messages. Like you mentioned, Joanna, already, lots of traffic apparently is backed up from Schuster to Sunland, I-10 East. Is that what you said?
She's on the phone, so she's probably checking the traffic.
Also, JB says that 1978 was the first time they used male names for hurricanes. Now it's both, but 1978 was when they...
Oh, I said relatively recently. I knew it was, like in my lifetime, I can remember the hurricanes, much like ships, were only named after women.
Yeah. All right, back into the news. People around the globe are remembering the victims of the 9/11 terrorist attacks today. On the 23rd anniversary of the attacks, family members of the victims are gathering with local leaders in Lower Manhattan for the annual reading of the victims' names. During the ceremony, there will be 6 moments of silence to mark when both World Trade Center towers were struck and fell, when the Pentagon was attacked, and when United Airlines Flight 93 crashed in Pennsylvania. President Biden and VP Harris will visit all 3 attack sites today to mark the anniversary. And good news, a new diet pill might be able to reduce all your body weight by 13% after only 3 months.
It might be able to what now?
A new diet pill might be able to reduce your body weight by 13% after only 3 months.
Is it Busy Rizzy by Sky Rizzy?
The European Association for the Study of Diabetes announced its findings yesterday on a new daily weight loss pill from Novo Nordisk, the maker of Wegovy. Early trials show the rate of weight loss appears to be even more rapid than what's been reported from those other drugs.
Dang.
Like Ozempic?
Yeah, faster. The pill has yet to be tested in a head-to-head trial against existing weight loss drugs.
I'm waiting for a drug that not only makes you lose a lot of weight, but it also makes you like super buff, like Hugh Jackman in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right. Like
I'm not going to waste my time.
I don't want to just lose the fat.
Right.
I want to build the muscle. I want to do nothing for my body.
I want to be able to put out thirst trap videos.
Yeah. Like a pill that gave you a 6-pack.
Yeah. A big old dong.
and hair.
Well, if we're being honest here.
It's funny how you want the big old dong and I want hair.
Hair.
It shows what we're both lacking.
Well, it could always be bigger.
Well, good news for Drake. Drake is extending his record for having the most songs reach the Billboard Hot 100.
Yeah, but he's not going to do the halftime show.
No, he's not. No Face and Circadian Rhythm debuted at number 60 and 69, becoming his 337th. He has 330 songs? What? There's no way he has 330 songs. Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the Beatles don't have 330 songs.
It says it's becoming his 337th and 338th career entries. The rapper holds several records on the chart, including the most top 5, the most top 10, and the top 20 and top 40 hits. All right.
But Kendrick Lamar is doing the halftime show.
He is.
I'm telling you. Viewership, if you want to have the most watched, the Super Bowl is always one of, if not the most watched television event of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you really want to see those numbers skyrocket, have Kendrick Lamar and Drake there at the same time and have them rap battle on stage.
That'd be amazing.
Can you imagine how...
it'd be epic. Everybody would watch.
Everybody would tune in, and then every kid in America would have their mouth washed out with soap after they start saying the things that those two say.
Well, a single ticket was sold in Sugar Land, Texas, that matched all 6 numbers of the $800 million Mega Millions jackpot. Oh, this would be a good article, Jana.
Interesting. Go on.
So yeah, normally for these big jackpots, they have like multiple winners sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. But this is just one?
Just one ticket, Sugar Land, Texas. Means for the first time since June, there's a grand prize winner in the nationwide lottery. It was for $800 million. So if they took the cash option, that is just over $400 million.
And then taxes.
Which would be like 200, right?
Right. So, it's like you win $800 million, but then you're left with a measly $200 million, like a pauper.
There's a new Office TV series that's going to be coming out.
Really?
Yeah.
Not a huge Office fan. Never was.
I'm just not sure it needed to be redone.
Are we sure this isn't the spin-off that's kind of like in the Office universe?
It might be. It says the new The Office series cast is revealed by a newspaper where they shadowed.
Yes, it's like a spin-off, but
Okay.
it's in the same universe as The Office.
Okay.
And it's about a newspaper.
A new mockumentary-style series set in the same universe as the original, and it will be a local newspaper, like you said.
Okay, but are they going to have any of the characters crossover from the other series, or is there no other connection?
The Scranton Strangler will still be
That's
a thing.
hilarious. And it's called The Paper. Mm-hmm. They're not going to call it The Office. Hotels.com is out with their list of oddest things ever left in hotel rooms. And I don't know if you guys are interested by this.
Dead bodies, for sure. I'm sure.
I assume it's not Motel 6s that they're taking into account. Things like Rolex watches, car tires, and tire tires have been found
in the hotel room?
In the hotel rooms.
I stay in those kind of hotels. That sounds like the type of place. Yeah, like the Moth Hotel in Trinidad, Colorado. Jesus.
But you know what?
There were easily, no lie, 1,000 moths in that room.
But like
they had taken up residence.
The beautiful thing, Joanna, was
I was too tired to change rooms,
so he just laid in the bed like with the moths.
And I told Nico, get him out of here.
And no,
you just like
I
shooted them off.
I pushed them to his side. And it really showed me what a bright light Buzz has been in my life, because they all just flew over to him.
They're all like, Daddy.
All right, just a couple more stories for you. Americans are throwing parties for what was once considered a gloomy life event, divorce. According to a Pew Research Center, more than half of all couples say couples stay in bad marriages too long. According to Evite data, it's mainly women who throw divorce parties. They add that the number of the parties being thrown...
Guys don't have divorce parties.
Yeah, they do. It's called going to a strip club with your friends.
But it's not like, I'm having a divorce party. It's not the same thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to get signage and like monogram napkins for it.
Right.
Evite's Olivia Pollock says the trend highlights a shift towards using celebrations to transform life transitions into positive experiences. Like divorce parties are therapeutic for many.
Hell yeah.
And finally, a tiger that escaped from a Mexican zoo has been captured.
A tiger?
Yeah.
Escaped from a Mexican zoo?
Yeah. This happened in Reynosa, Mexico, which is across from the Texas border town of McAllen. The big cat named Tony the tiger?
Very original, Mexico.
Nice.
That's like if you let the 3-year-old name the pet.
Yeah. It's the Tony.
Tony.
The big cat named Tony has been on the loose for about 1 week. He was spotted bathing in the Rio Grande.
Oh, my God. You want to talk about who needs a wall?
Yeah.
Get some of those tigers out there in the Rio Grande.
Feeding on chickens from nearby ranches. Officials said in a statement they used trap cages to capture him. It did not say how the Bengal tiger escaped from the Quinta La Fauna Zoo.
Like anybody escapes, you build a railroad underneath the prison.
Like any Chapo would do.
Yeah, like any Chapo would.
Well, the zoo is still closed for now.
But they got the tiger back.
They got the tiger back.
And they haven't opened the zoo?
No, they haven't.
Okay.
But it's like a Mexican tiger.
Well, it's probably an Asian or African tiger that ended up in Mexico.
No, he's full Mexican now.
Oh, and it was right next to the U.S. border too.
Yeah.
So was he a Tigre de la Norte? That demonstrated my knowledge of the Spanish language and ranchero music. Right?
Your ex-girlfriends would be so proud of you right now.
With your news, I'm Nico.
Hey, it's Chuck, your host for Loudwire Nights. Tonight at 7, we will rock the borderland with the best rock ever made and the best rock being made. Special guests, birthday and anniversary celebrations, and every night at 10...
See me at Vida's 901 North Mesa across from Walgreens or visit vida-cbd.com.
Live from the KLAQ studios, the Buzz Adams Morning Show. Courtesy of Glasheen, Vyas, and Inderman Personal Injury Lawyers at GVILaw.com.
Boy, what a lunch you missed out on Monday, Joanna. At La Posta.
It was a feast.
I can't believe you actually went. How come when I go, you never go?
Well,
Nico,
you know what?
was needling me to go.
It took me to bully him into getting there, and then he bought like beer on the way over, and I was like, "Well, we have to drink this when we get back to your house."
Oh,
so.
that's when you drank the 20 beers?
Yeah,
that's what.
I mean, he already bought it, so.
La Posta in the center of historic Old Mesilla, known for their red chili. And we had a lot of different things. Nico had one of the signature margaritas. Yeah, you had a sip or two out of it.
Yeah, it was delicious.
They were talking about how long the restaurant's been there. So it's been a restaurant since 1939.
Mm-hmm.
At one point, it was the stagecoach station.
In the 1800s.
In the 1800s it was. Then it was the family
like for
home
mail and for passengers. Like if you had to travel from city or town to town, Mesilla. They even say Billy the Kid probably traveled,
it was the home of the Griggs family who opened the Griggs restaurant, or some relatives, members of the Griggs family. But they were talking about people come in now, like older folks who are 80 or even upwards of 90 years old. They'll come in and tell stories about how their parents brought them and their siblings to La Posta back when they were kids. So a lot of history there and some delicious food. And they got a big celebration coming up for 16 de Septiembre, which is next Monday, which is this coming Monday. So this weekend is going to be the big party. And they're going to be part of it. The whole Old Mesilla is really going to be party central for 16th of September. That is our dining deal for this week, is La Posta. Starting at 10 a.m. on Friday, you can get a $50 certificate for only $25. So you save. It's half off on all of our dining deals.
I'm gonna definitely probably get one for myself because the food up there, not just in La Posta, everywhere in Mesilla is delicious.
And
but
every room is like I say, it used to be a residence. So we ate in Katie Griggs' old boudoir. That's where we were.
Oh my! And you know what's cool, Joanna, is it has that Spanish architecture where there's like a central area where light comes down through.
Oh, nice.
And then they have parrots and stuff. It's magical.
Yeah, fantastic. So you can get in on this Friday at 10 a.m. Go to KLAQ.com or open the KLAQ mobile app. Look for dining deals. We only put out 100 of these, and they're $50 for $25. Get them while they last this Friday.
You know what, like, La Posta would be good for are couples who are looking to go out and see something different in El Paso, and just all you need is a 45-minute drive or 30-minute drive. And you can get out of the El Paso scene and kind of try something different.
Yeah, well, any trip to Old Mesilla is, I guess I hadn't been there in almost 8 years. Or more to Old Mesilla.
You said, Joanna,
kind of hipsterized.
This is the first thing. This is the first thing he tells the owner is like, "Huh, you got a lot of hipsters now."
Well, it's gentrified a little bit. And it's
nice.
Very historic.
Yeah.
They got the Billy the Kid Museum right there, and a lot of historic figures went through La Posta back in the day. So, yeah.
Somebody sent us a picture saying that the potential suspects in the cat eatings in Springfield, Ohio, might not be Haitian immigrants, but might be ALF.
You know, I was trying to think.
Illegal aliens.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Donald Trump, just when I think, okay, he can't stoop any lower or get more racist or demeaning. Somehow he proves me wrong. So he brought up the Haitian immigrants eating cats and dogs story. And he got fact-checked right there by David Muir, who said, hey, ABC News called the city manager and said there's no reports. Also, the chief of police in Springfield, Ohio said, we haven't had any reports of cats or dogs being stolen.
It's just a bizarre thing to bring up in a...
It's almost like he saw... Because I only heard about this when frickin' Cucker called yesterday. We didn't even air the call.
Have you noticed how Cucker has not called in today, and neither has
Smooth Brain.
Smooth Brain. Like, nobody who is a Trump supporter has called in to defend his performance.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
All right, so David Muir said, Mr. President, ABC News reached out to the city manager of Springfield, who said that there have been no reports of cats or dogs being abducted by Haitians and eaten. And here's Trump's brilliant response.
The people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from television.
But the people on television say their dog was eaten by the people that went there.
It's some people on
This
TV.
sounds like the kind of thing that started off on Nextdoor, and then it just blew up from there. And probably anybody whose dog or cat got lost or missing probably started saying, well, I bet that's what happened to my dog.
Exactly. Let's just say this. You could have as many... people are crazy out there, right? And there's insane people. You might be able to have these people go on air and say these things. But what the John Muir said in his question...
David Muir
said in his question was that there have been no police reports. If your dog was being eaten by somebody, you would call the police.
You wouldn't call your senator. J.D. Vance put this out because he's a senator from Ohio, and he said that some of his constituents have made this claim.
Call your
police. But wait a minute, you
officer.
call your senator, but not the local police department? If you know or even suspect that Haitian immigrants abducted your pets and ate them.
So they said that no police calls have been received about that, which tells me, oh, well, it's fake. There's just some crazy people that are saying it on air.
A couple. Look, if they turn up one case of somebody eating somebody's pet, you're going to have people saying, oh, look, it actually happened. I don't expect that they're going to turn up a single case or of any evidence of this happening. And I just want to say, the asylum policy that the United States has and most civilized countries have came after World War II. There's a great PBS documentary. It's about the America during the Holocaust, World War II. A ship of Jewish refugees from Europe, from places like Germany and Poland, came, and these folks were trying to get out of Europe. There was a lot of, the sentiment before America got involved in the war was, surely it can't be that bad. These people are just making it up because they want to get to the United States. The same kind of rhetoric.
Right.
That ship had to turn around, and some of those people ended up on train cars going to the death camps. So after World War II, they said, we got to find some way, if people are fearful for their lives, that they can get asylum at a different country. So let's talk about Haiti for a second. The president had to flee, and the government was taken over by violent gangs. So if anybody has a decent asylum claim, some of these Haitians probably have a real... And if you know anything at all about Haiti, you know that Haitians don't kidnap your pets to eat. They kidnap your pets to sacrifice in voodoo rituals.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Joanna thought that was a really funny comment earlier, but she just left me hanging there.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I forgot. We're the ones who have to laugh when you say something funny.
Joanna,
okay.
if you laughed before the show, you can laugh now. I don't even believe that one.
I'm sorry.
Imagine if he wasn't here.
The first time.
It was. I was listening to the debate last night, or I saw the debate, and I was leaning towards Kamala, but I don't know. I mean, Trump did seem uneasy, but Kamala, man, came across like half the stuff she wasn't telling the truth.
Wait,
hold
on a second.
Hold on. Who watched that debate
and thought
Kamala came off as more lying?
If she lied 50% of the time, then Donald Trump lied 290% of the time. Because I mean, he was saying insane, obviously false stuff. Obviously.
And then half the stuff he did want to change is what Trump's pushing for. So it made me think, why do we need Kamala when Trump's already got these ideas going? I mean, Kamala just piggybacking on him. A lot of the fact checking I noticed online after the debate. I mean, it's all over YouTube. Some of the stuff Trump wasn't 100% truthful.
This is kind of blowing my mind to the point where I don't believe your initial statement that you were leaning toward Kamala in the first place. I find that hard to swallow.
And also, Kamala had a lot that wasn't 100% truthful.
They had, on ABC, they had a fact checker as a guest, and he said, yeah, there were some things that had political spin from Kamala, but that there's just not enough time for their broadcast to list all the things that Trump blatantly lied about. So if we're going to talk about truthfulness, there is no comparison there.
Right, none. But Kamala did act evasive sometimes. She would they would ask her a question and she wouldn't
I'll give you an example. And if I could say anything to the Harris campaign, it's like avoid any spin jobs, avoid blaming things on Trump that weren't really his fault, because you've got plenty of things to blame on him that were his fault. So she said that when Biden and her went into the White House, they inherited the worst unemployment rate since the Great Depression. That's not, I mean, it was high. And also, we were coming out of the pandemic. She mentioned all the jobs lost under the Trump administration. We had the pandemic. A lot of people.
Those aren't lies. She's not lying when she
says it. But you know what I mean. It's kind of sideways. It's a little.
I mean, God, man, do you remember what politics? That's what you did in politics. I mean, every campaign was about spinning their policies.
We got a live call. It's John. Hello, John.
Hey.
Hey, Buzz. How's it going? Good morning.
Good morning. What's up?
I just wanted to add something. You guys are talking about the debate. Something that Kamala had said was that January 6th was the worst attack on America since the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
She said that last night, and today is 9/11, and I think she also forgot about Pearl Harbor.
Well, so, John, I think I completely agree with her, but she was talking about Americans fighting each other since the Civil War.
So I know what you're talking about, John. You're talking about foreign terrorists who plotted together to attack us on 9/11, and you're putting that in the same context as
a civil war,
as people who were motivated by the sitting president of the United States to attack the Capitol building. It's apples and oranges. It's apples and hammers. It's not even the same. They're not both fruits. There's no comparison.
Okay, it was just kind of the context that she kind of said it in. I mean,
also, I think you're probably paraphrasing. If I went back and checked what she actually said, we'll see what I've got plenty of clips here, but. Are you trying to minimize January 6th? Do you think it was right what Trump did on January 6th?
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, it's just, it's because he was on stage debating, obviously, Donald Trump. So
right.
I think it was and you could even say the worst attack on Washington, D.C., because the Pentagon got hit on 9/11. But as far as
the War of 1812 really messed us up.
As far as attacking the Capitol with senators and congressmen from both sides in the building was not done by foreign terrorists who wanted to destroy America. It was done by the President of the United States. Tell me you can see the difference.
there is a difference, but, it's just the context of how she explained it. She didn't go into detail like that.
No, that's true.
And
You're
I think a lot of people can kind of take it how they will, because, words mean things, and different people have different perspectives on, how things are said or whatever, but, or it kind of sounded pretty like, oh, did you forget what tomorrow is?
Right. I could see that point.
Okay. All right, John. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate it. Let's take a break. We'll come back, and I've got a true crime report in the 9 o'clock hour. Woo! More of the Buzz Adams Morning Show is on the way right after this.
Hey, it's Double G. Coming up after the Buzz Adams Morning Show,
now is always the at Rudolph. We're located at I-10 and Red Road. The only road, the Rudolph Road.
The Buzz Adams Morning Show, Monday through Friday, 5 to 10. KLAQ and KLAQ HD1, El Paso, a town square media station.
Well, believe it or not, with all the debate stuff going on, people still called in on the neckline want to talk about Tyreek Hill.
Oh, that's interesting.
The Miami Dolphins receiver who was cuffed and put on the ground. And, so I'll get to a couple of those.
Let me get through a couple of app chat messages. Das from our app chat says, I think I listened to you guys too much. I was watching the debate and I thought, I can't wait to listen in tomorrow to see what Buzz thinks. Then I started watching Jennifer's Body and I started to think, damn, I bet Buzz likes this movie. Then I thought, why the F am I thinking of Buzz with a half chub watching Megan Fox?
The first thing that popped to his mind, Buzz Adams.
I've never seen Jennifer's Body all the way through. Just my favorite scenes, but no. That's a movie that has been reevaluated. Like, critics didn't really go for it. It got panned as a brainless.
I was the only one in my friend group who loved that movie.
Yeah, that movie has really...
Is it really good?
Yeah, that's what they say now.
Good.
But I've never seen it all the way through.
Seed says the moths can smell the Dr. Pepper oozing from Buzz's pores. Carlos says, Buzz made my day with the Tigres del Norte joke.
Thank you.
Duri says, Buzz with the golden mic drop for Tigres del Norte.
Give me that golden mic.
Oh, yeah, you deserve the golden mic for that.
I saw it sitting back there in your little cubby hole.
Yeah.
Like you're not even proud
I am.
of having
It was
the
on
golden
full
mic
display.
necklace. You need to wear it around your neck.
Alberto was eyeing it.
Like you were afraid that Alberto might sneak out thinking it's real gold. He'd be able to pay his rent for a couple months. Sorry, Alberto. I know I'm picking on you. I'm picking on Alberto because
you can't pick on me right now.
Well, I feel like I've been pretty hard on Nico, but you drank 20 of my beers, dude.
I didn't. Okay. Anyways, Joe DeBiz says, has Cucker Carlson commented? No, Cucker has not commented. Smooth Brain has not commented.
I don't want to throw it out there because it sounds like we're challenging them.
Really. And Big Daddy Delicious has not come in and commented.
I don't think so. Unless he was like stealthily one of those calls.
No, he wasn't
earlier.
And usually those are some of our most vocal listeners.
Got a true crime report. You ready for it?
Yeah.
All right, here goes.
That's the sound of the police. That's the sound of the
What is going on?
I don't know.
You have another window.
Yeah, I had the Fox News video of Kamala talking about January 6th. I didn't.
But there's an ad for something.
Yeah, but there's an ad for a cruise or something. I couldn't find the thing that he was. He said it was in there. The caller said it was in there.
It was. I remember her saying that.
She said it was the worst attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I bet she said on the U.S. Capitol or on the Capitol building.
She said on democracy.
On democracy. John was the caller who thought it was ironic that she would make that statement on the eve of 9/11. But I mean, if we're getting to the point where we're splitting hairs over the difference between terrorist and the former president, I mean, you're kind of blowing up your own argument there, it seems like. For the replay of this, edit that all out, okay?
Sure.
Thank you, Joanna. Time for The True Crime Report, actual crime stories from around the world and across the nation. And I even have an El Paso story. Don't let me forget to do the El Paso story. Because I have all this on one document, and then I'm just going to use the paper for the El Paso story.
Okay.
Authorities in Baltimore have arrested a 67-year-old man for stealing traffic speed cameras.
Okay.
Thomas Cairns was arrested by Baltimore police. He is 67 years old for stealing speed cameras.
Oh.
They've charged him with taking 4 of them.
Not
They
a spry.
suspect, though, that he's responsible for stealing dozens throughout the city because there have been that many that have gone missing, and they think they got their guy.
Not a spry young thing.
Speed cameras are like red light cameras and can issue tickets to drivers who drive recklessly. I mean, I don't want anybody driving recklessly, but we don't have that here, do we?
They got rid of them.
Because it's like people were mad about them, or
I don't know why.
Okay.
I can't remember why.
They've been Oh, here you go. The story says those speed cameras have been controversial because they've issued tickets to drivers who weren't actually speeding. Baltimore has about 160 of these cameras. And officials say they could have been broken into in broad daylight because people would just assume that it was a maintenance worker. In fact, they have footage of the thief, Mr. Cairns, wearing a hard hat, getting out of a van and using a grinder to cut the locks and steal the cameras. Now, is this guy like a modern day Robin Hood?
Right.
Or is he just a criminal?
Not all heroes wear capes.
The police have not recovered the cameras, and they say they're not sure what his motive was. Well, here is a gun safety tip. Do not store your guns in an oven.
Okay.
You've heard the expression, you got a bun in the oven. Well, somebody had a gun in the oven. Fire officials in Virginia were called to a home in the Richmond area when a homeowner reported that their oven had exploded. So the fire department showed up. When the firefighters showed up, they found that the oven had exploded and there was a handgun inside. Apparently, someone had turned on the oven, not knowing that there was a loaded gun inside. It was loaded, yeah. 5 rounds went off when the temperature got hot enough. Fortunately, no one was hurt. One of the rounds shot through the front glass of the oven. No further details on who put the gun there or why it was in the oven. Fire officials shared this life hack. When you place any item in the oven, it is easy to forget it's there, which can lead to a fire or something worse when you turn it on. You should also make sure to properly store your firearms. Keep them somewhere secure, like a gun safe.
I don't leave my gun in my oven, but I do leave my Dutch oven in my big oven.
Mm-hmm.
You don't use your oven to store pots and pans?
God, I hate when I forget about that, and then I try to make a frozen
Store
pizza.
pots and pans?
I forgot you don't use your oven. But
sometimes I leave I got an oven tray.
You only cook by fire now.
Yeah, now I only cook on an open flame. That is true. You know, I don't know if you've ever noticed on the True Crime Report, I don't do a lot of international stories because they're harder to verify, and some of them seem pretty outlandish. So for this one to make it, this one is an international story. It's got to be special. This happened in the Netherlands. A 33-year-old man was sentenced to 4 months in jail for stalking after showing up at his ex's home. But he didn't just show up at the front door. He shipped himself inside a box to her address. It is unclear if the ex-girlfriend brought the box inside, but he popped out of the box, threatened his ex with a gun, and then took off with the keys to the home. He had himself shipped
as a box
inside. He was in the.
Okay,
who shipped it?
Yeah,
or did he just take a box there and crouch down in it?
I didn't know they offer that service at Kinko's.
The man told the judge in his defense that he had himself delivered in a box because, quote, that was the only way he could get his stuff back.
Judge, I had to mail myself in that box.
I just wanted my stuff back.
Did he go through whatever they have for a post office in the Netherlands? Do they have UPS? How did this happen? The ex, the woman, had put a camera in her home after the box incident and caught him showing up at her place on 3 occasions. Remember, he had stolen the keys. The man claims he had permission for the visits. The judge was not buying it. In addition to jail time, the judge granted the woman a 3-year restraining order. So I imagine if any boxes, unexpected, but big enough to have
That
a
are
human
large,
being
yeah.
inside, she's going to be very, very skeptical of. So I've been hearing for decades, most of my adult life, that, like store employees and convenience store clerks aren't allowed to interfere if they're being robbed. This guy in Vegas didn't get the message. A 47-year-old gas station convenience store clerk named Myron Bully was arrested for beating a man with a baseball bat. What did the man steal? Technically nothing. He took too much nacho cheese, according to the convenience store worker.
That's nacho cheese.
Get back here. That's nacho cheese. Very good. The person called 911.
Repeat what you said.
Yeah. The person who called 911 told police he saw the victim on the ground while pumping gas and asked the clerk to call 911. The clerk responded, "I'm not going to call 911. He better have learned a lesson." So the guy was on the ground after being beaten with a baseball bat. So Mr. Bully, Bullie, told Vegas cops that the victim, quote, took too much cheese from the nacho cheese machine.
There's a limit.
The clerk said he told the customer to leave. The victim left but returned a few minutes later, insisting that he get his nachos. And that is when Bully, the clerk, pushed him and hit him with a baseball bat. And it's a serious injury. The victim is in really bad shape with 2 brain bleeds. His injuries are considered life-threatening. Bully was charged with suspicion of attempted murder and battery with a deadly weapon. So when I hear this thing like clerks aren't allowed to interfere with the robbery in progress, I'm going to go ahead and say that policy may vary from store to store. And our final story is from the El Paso Times today. A story written, excellent reporting by Aaron Martinez in the El Paso Times. A state judge has shut down a historic El Paso hotel because police believe it is being used...
Prostitutes.
A lot of criminal activity.
Hookers. Ladies of the night.
It's the El Paso Gateway Hotel, which was converted to a hotel in 1928, has been shut down at least until December by a state judge after the owner was accused of operating the hotel and allowing criminal activity, including housing members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua.
Oh.
Have you heard about this? There's a story similar to this in Colorado.
No, I had no idea because in our app chat, Munster says, why is no one talking about the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua that's here in El Paso? And I was going to bring this up.
Tren de Aragua.
So what is this? We have had a Venezuelan gang in El Paso?
I read a story earlier this week about Aurora, Colorado.
Oh, is that the one they're talking about, the apartment complex of the suburb?
Has been completely taken over by
That's false.
That turned out not to be true?
Yes.
Here's the question. If any members of a violent Venezuelan gang, wouldn't the police get involved at that point? They said they had taken over, was it an apartment complex or a motel in Colorado?
I think it was an apartment complex.
Okay, let's try and suss out here. Got to go to the next page. The defendant in the lawsuit is Howard Yun, the owner, who was not reached for they did not hear back from him. The hotel has become a hub for suspected gang activity, particularly members of the Venezuelan criminal gang Tren de Aragua. That is according to El Paso police. During an inspection of the hotel, EP police officers observed several violations, including an out-of-order elevator, unstable stairwells, and fire exits blocked by trash. Police also say possible prostitution and an increase in criminal incidents since the arrival of the Tren de Aragua gang members at the hotel. The Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, has made national headlines in the last few months after gang members allegedly took over a housing complex in Aurora, Colorado. You say that's not true?
Yeah,
like they weren't there at all, or they didn't take it over?
They didn't take it over.
But okay. But there's a kernel of truth there.
There may be a Venezuelan person around, yeah.
The Aurora Police Department has denied that the gang had control of the housing complex. The Gateway Hotel opened in 1928. It was converted by Trost & Trost, the famous El Paso architectural firm. The previous owner of the hotel, Song Yu Chon, was convicted in federal court in 2011 of money laundering and a scheme to smuggle into the U.S. thousands of undocumented immigrants, many of whom were housed at the hotel over several years. The previous owner of the Gateway was sentenced to 15 years in prison. So what do we got here? We got reports that you're saying are not 100% true, and the Aurora Police Department says not true, that this Venezuelan gang has taken over an entire housing complex. And they have ordered the Gateway Hotel shuttered until December as they investigate these allegations from the police department.
So the apartment's landlord said that those gang members were taking over possession of the building.
In El Paso?
No, this is the one in Aurora. But police and residents of the city say, no, that's not true.
Well, if you saw New Jack City, you saw that Wesley Snipes and his gang totally took over an apartment building.
Now, police have arrested members of the gang in Aurora, Colorado.
Now, if you arrest somebody who's associated with a gang and has been involved in criminal activity, they should be on a plane that night, don't you think?
Yeah.
I might be exaggerating. I guess everybody has some kind of due process.
If you only read the New York Post or watch Fox News, you're going to hear headlines like this one. Brutal Venezuelan gang violence spills into quiet suburb from sanctuary city next door despite efforts to keep migrants out.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds like there's some version of that the police in El Paso suspect is going on at the Gateway Hotel downtown.
Coming up on Houses Without Venezuelan Gangs Hunters, Linda is looking for a home that's spacious, has great curb appeal, and hasn't been taken over by a Venezuelan gang. Let's see if she finds what she's looking for.
All right, over here you'll see the kitchen. If you'll notice the new appliances.
Ooh, stainless steel.
Yep, very fancy. And let's go over here to the master bedroom. Actually, let's go check out the...
Was that a Venezuelan gang?
What? Don't be silly.
Because I specifically said that I didn't want a home that was taken over by a Venezuelan gang.
Yes, I'm aware. No, that is the building superintendent and his co-workers. They're doing their fantasy football draft. And
sounds like a rampaging Venezuelan gang.
Fine, you got me. Let's go look at another place.
It's all coming up on Houses Without Venezuelan Gangs Hunters, only on HGTV.
Hey, it's Daniel Paulus. I'll be along starting at 3 with everything from Led Zeppelin to Soundgarden.
95.5 KLAQ, the Scorpions, and Rock You Like a Hurricane. We've been getting some calls. There's some serious problems on the west side as far as traffic goes. So why don't we throw it back to Joanna and get another update here about the traffic situation in West El Paso.
And now, traffic with Joanna Barba, only on KLAQ.
All right, what's happening now?
Well, we're still seeing major delays on I-10 East. Lane closures at Porfirio Diaz and exit 18B are causing major delays and major backup that extends past Sunland Park now. So you'll definitely want to find an alternate route like the Border West Expressway if you're heading in that direction. Again, that's I-10 East at Porfirio Diaz with backup that goes past Sunland Park.
All right, very good.
Hey, our boss Kevin just sent an email.
Uh-oh. What did you guys do?
Oh, no, nothing about it. It's a news break update from a New York Post article saying hatchet-wielding, hard-partying migrants take over Texas hotel.
About the El Paso?
Turning it into a haven for Tren de Aragua gang.
Well, we just did that story in the True Crime Report.
Turning it into but this is from the Post, so it's making it look really bad.
They can get a little emotional.
The cops have been called nearly 700 times to the Gateway Hotel. Surveillance footage shows one man wielding a hatchet. Others were spotted with knives, and at least one man was seen firing a gun inside. The El Paso County attorney said, "God, we should talk to Bill Hicks." Oh, no, the county attorney is different?
The county attorney is different from the district attorney. Bill Hicks is a district attorney.
Well, whoever our county attorney is, we should talk to.
Find out what's going on down there.
Yeah.
So somebody in the app chat said that we weren't hearing from the usual suspects. You know, the insane MAGA people like Cucker and Smooth Brain.
Who will defend Donald Trump at any cost?
Well, somebody took the bait. Do you want to hear it?
Yep.
Yo, morning crew. The reason I haven't bothered commenting on the debate is I watched most of it. I missed the first 20 minutes of it, but what I caught the rest of it, he whooped her butt. He wiped the floor with her. He came out with all the same debunked things, these same accusations that have been debunked.
Honestly, are we living in a parallel?
No, he's trolling. He's trolling. There's no way he thinks.
There's no way that he seriously believes that she was the one coming out with debunked information.
Right.
And he just wiped the floor with her. And like what he did with Biden, he elderly abused Biden, defeated him, got him out of the race, and she was making a lot of like emotional pleas. And she was trying to like chastise him, but she's chastising him based on his lies and stuff. I feel like it's like a lion. You don't need to defend the lion. You just let the lion out of the cage. It defends itself. And I feel like I don't need to waste my time. Trump won. He liked the floor with her. I think he won with anybody, to and for anybody that has eyes and ears and a brain. That so that's my take on it. You have a good day.
I'm sorry.
What if he's just he is a Democrat, like a deep blue Democrat? He's just like playing a character, because that's right. That's what it's got to be. I mean, Trump brought up the election lie that he won in 2020. He brought that up during the debate last night.
No. David Muir brought that up. He asked him point blank.
He did ask him a question, but Trump also said, well, they didn't do a good enough job. He brought up that 61 different judges dismissed his claims, and
we don't have standing. And anyways, no, there was no way that Donald Trump looked comprehensible. It's like a lion. Are you kidding me?
A lion's a good animal to compare Trump to, because he's always lying.
Okay.
The one thing that really stood out to me during the debate was, when they brought up the border bill, the bipartisan border bill. When Kamala Harris, she said how it would have helped us really at the border, us being El Paso, it would have really helped us out a lot. And they asked Donald Trump, why did you call in to try to get it killed, right? And instead of him answering why he did that, he just went on and on and on about the size of his crowd,
migrants,
and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And it just really shows you how not serious these people are. These are important issues, and what did he care about? His crowd size, not about the border.
Well, she poked him to begin with about the crowd size. Listen, I try to be at least honest about what I saw and what I thought about what I saw.
Sure. You believe in what you are saying.
That Daddy Delicious believes what he's saying.
No, that's so ridiculous. If anybody watching that knew Donald Trump melted down and
I think
had a terrible night.
This was kind of a knockout punch, but he didn't come back and refute this. Listen.
Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress and said, kill the bill. He'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem.
And he's like, yeah, what's wrong with that? I want to run on the problem. You know what I thought was an interesting point?
The next time that Trump spoke, he didn't say, I never called a single
No, he was just like,
he did.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah. And she's talking about the bipartisan border security bill. Trump got on the phone. If he didn't do it, he had ample opportunity to refute that.
It had money to hire 1,500 new Border Patrol agents. It had money to provide equipment, and so it was a step in the right direction. And like she said, he wants to run on the problem as opposed to being part of a solution for things. Hey, I just want to bring up one point from the debate last night that I thought was really interesting. When they really pressed Trump on whether he would sign or veto a national abortion ban. And what he tried to do was really try to walk the middle because he's trying not to piss off both sides. And he wouldn't answer yes or no. He wouldn't answer whether he would vote on whether he would veto an abortion ban, national one. But what they did bring up was, here is a clip or here is a quote from your vice president, J.D. Vance, who said at a rally here that he was speaking for you, that you would never, ever sign a national abortion ban.
I think Trump's response was something like, well, I haven't talked to JD.
He doesn't really speak for me necessarily.
Joanna was watching the whole thing last night.
I thought we were all going to live tweet it, send each other our reactions. Because they're terrible.
Good morning, Buzz. This is Donald J. Trump calling, and we have a huge problem on our hands. I spoke about it yesterday, Kamala. We have billions and billions of migrants that are living here illegally, and they are eating our dogs, our cats, and they're eating our goldfish. And I'm not talking about the cute little crackers. I'm talking about actual fish that swim and live in water. They also are eating birds like cockatoos and even our grandmas. They're eating when we have plenty of food here in America.
That was a good one.
Nice job there. So if Trump didn't push back about spiking the immigration bill, which was drafted by Senator Lankford of Oklahoma, one of the most conservatives.
Hey,
he's
yours.
I've lived in Texas for 34 years. So.
Good morning show. I did catch where Trump was telling Kamala that they killed the baby at 8 months or 9 months, and Trump was telling Kamala, why don't you deny it? And she never denied it. She just stayed quiet. Anyways, that's one thing that everybody started yelling at the TV last night. Like, come on, man, just answer and say, no, I don't believe that. But she never did. Anyways, bye.
Yeah, I even picked up on that a little bit. Like, he would say she believes in it if she would laugh or scoff, but why didn't she come back and, you know who did? The moderator said there is no state in America that allows post-birth. It's homicide. It's not what he was saying.
We're kind of talking about two things. He did bring up at one point, he said that she believes in abortion in the 7th, 8th, and 9th months.
And even after.
Which, of course, is just ridiculous. But if he's talking about why she hasn't completely disavowed late-term abortions, one, they're rare, but two,
life of the mother.
We're not doctors, and neither is he, and neither is she. And I think she left herself wiggle room so that if doctors came out and said, you know what, there are times where this is medically necessary. So
I'm going to do a deep dive into this because I remember hearing back in the 90s about a procedure called partial birth abortion.
That's not a medical term.
It's a political term.
It's a political term.
But it describes a procedure. And
it doesn't describe it because it's trying to use the imagery that you are partially giving birth to something and then you're killing it. And that's not what is happening.
Here is Joe, I'm going to deep dive into this. I'm going to find out, under what conditions does somebody have an abortion in the 9th month? And find out if there's anything there that, if the baby is non-viable and the mother is possibly going to die, it's hard to believe that anybody would say, oh, she needs to die then.
Right.
For this baby that's not even going to live. Here's Joe, who is called in live. Hello, Joe.
Hey, what up, Joe?
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
It's just these callers, it's really cult behavior. It's very obvious when you follow someone, you're going to defend them no matter what.
No matter what. I was thinking if the Lord Jesus Christ came down from heaven on above and said something that Trump disagreed with, these Trump supporters would believe Trump over Jesus Christ. They really would. That's how slavish they are in their devotion.
And Kamala, since the beginning, she knew how to get under Trump's skin right away.
I was thinking about this, Joe. She started off when she walked over and extended her hand and introduced herself. You could tell that really put him on his back foot.
Yeah, he was not going to take her hand. He was not.
Well, he didn't go over to her. She went over to him.
Yeah.
I think that knocked him off balance to begin with.
And then he starts with the Marxist comments and all that.
She's a communist. Her father was a communist and raised her to be a communist.
She knew exactly what to trigger him and when to say what to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everything. Exactly, Joe.
All right, Joe.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate hearing from you. Appreciate hearing from everybody, some more than others.
Okay, there's 2 questions I have to say that are hilarious. The comments in the app chat. Thank you for leaving those. You can do that at the KLAQ mobile app. You can download that wherever you get your apps from. Brian says, Donald Trump on last night's debate reminded me very much of an older, senile version of Homelander from The Boys. I can just imagine that in the back of Donald's head during the entire debate. He was trying to activate the Gen V powers somehow, so he could laser beam Kamala Harris.
I want to laser everybody in this room except me. God, why can't I be Homelander?
Michael says, I learned something new. After the debate, Trump went to the spin room. Apparently, there's a spin room where minions of Trump or Harris go to highlight how good or bad they did. That is true.
My entire life, I mean, that I've been able to vote, there's been a spin room.
Yeah, there's always a spin room right after the debates.
There's always been a spin room. They go and spin it.
Trump went into the spin room, and what a lot of people are saying is that doesn't happen if you had a good night.
Right, if you had a good night. Harris didn't go in the spin room, did she?
Nope.
Well, if you didn't catch the debate last night, we worked hard to do this, but we boiled it down to 45 seconds.
Yep.
So, this isn't every single point that was made, but
in Springfield, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets.
Talk about extreme.
And everybody's laughing at it, okay? They're all laughing at it. Wait a minute, I'm talking now. Does that sound familiar?
Well, I think this is so rich, coming from someone who has been prosecuted.
Oh, he's a criminal. And I built it into many, many billions of dollars. Many, many billions. Billions and billions, hundreds of billions of dollars.
So Donald Trump has no plan for you.
She doesn't have a plan. And it's like 4 sentences.
Let's compare the plans. I have a plan.
I don't care. I couldn't care less. All I can say is I read where that she put out.
Thank you. While you're working away, we're working for you. Our job.
Lines available for tea and craft vendors, live music, and Southwestern food. For more info, go to laviniawinery.com.
Live from the KLAQ studios, the Buzz Adams Morning Show. Courtesy of Glasheen, Vyas, and Inderman Personal Injury Lawyers at GVILaw.com.
Well, we only have a few minutes to wrap up the show here.
What can we cook up in 4 minutes?
Cats and dogs.
Living together.
Haitian style.
I love our app chatters. You know, I think most of our listeners are some of the funniest people in the world, like Derek, with his emails.
You got to admit, sometimes
5 points
Daddy D can every
and
now
Daddy
and then
D
say
is funny. And
something funny.
ODG is funny too.
Well, ODG's in timeout right now.
Yeah, he's gone real.
I mean,
he's gone real
every call
anti-Semitic.
is just like super anti-Semitic.
Getting a bit unhinged.
You see those, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's like nothing that he talks about that's not about.
It's just like our caller Tracy says, it's
Jew
hate.
Yeah, it's a lot of Jew hate.
It's not anti-Semitic, it's Jew hate.
But Monty in our app chat left the best response ever. He says, "Is RFK living in Springfield now?"
Ding, 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 ding.
And Buzz.
So here, let me see if I can find the moment that he's talking about there.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
You know the funny part? The only person who has demonstrably eaten a pet is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
The only evidence of anybody in this election cycle who may have eaten a dog is that photograph of RFK Jr., who was a Democrat and then switched over to Team Trump.
What the hell is going on in this
What?
election?
I know, seriously. The darkest timeline is real.
So, this is a very somber day. They're having memorial services around the country, including Ground Zero, where both Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, and Donald Trump and J.D. Vance were there. And reportedly, Kamala Harris shook hands with Donald Trump again. There's not enough Purell in the world to get that off.
Hey, Moshe. Morning. Just wanted to let you guys know that I really appreciate the show. I've been a fan for over 20 years, and of course, this is a memorable date. This is actually one of the dates in which I decided to start listening regularly. Previously, I used to just I listen in, and I would always want to listen to music, right? So the chatter and everything wasn't necessarily my cup of tea back then. I was barely starting college. But I wanted to let you know that, that particular show from 9/11 when back in 2001, it changed my perspective on the show, and I really liked the way that you guys carried the show back then. Buzz, don't retire. Love you. And when I come to think about it, I'm wondering if you guys would have that show recording it, and if you have that available. I was curious, and maybe I would like to listen to it once again. All right. Thanks, guys.
Number one, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That is really meaningful to me.
That was
Secondly,
nice.
I don't want to make this about us, anything to do with 9/11, but through the years, I've heard that from people that was a really meaningful morning show, the morning of 9/11. It was,
and you know what? We got several messages on that. Like Caroline in our fan chat mentioned if we had that anywhere.
I have been.
What did you do that day?
Right?
Yeah, we turned on the TV and basically described what was going on and tried to convey any. You remember this was before really the internet was what the internet is today.
I was in 7th grade.
We didn't have the internet in our studio. So we were just watching TV and trying to make sense of what was going on. And I've been asked about, do we have tapes from the 9/11 show through the years? Look into that, would you, Nico?
Oh, Nico, you're kind of like the one that kind of got
you're kind of like the
stuff.
archivist.
Yeah, I guess.
Can you trap? Well, listen, but I appreciate the call.
I'm putting your biography together.
This is very much about the victims and their families, the first responders, and everybody else who, either died or was injured or lost somebody on 9/11.
What a beautiful Tuesday morning it was. The sky was clear. It was blue. Not a cloud in the sky. They call it severe clear. About 8 o'clock, American Flight 11 was fully fueled. It was bound for Los Angeles. It left Boston Logan Airport.
This is Boston. I tried American 20 left and I was going to climb him. He will not respond to me now. Looks like he's turning right.
Traffic controllers lost contact, but the hijackers used the Hudson River as its guide down to New York City.
What is your name?
Okay, my name is Betty Ong. I'm number 3 on Flight 11. The cockpit's not answering. Somebody's stabbed in business class. I think there's mace that we can't breathe. I don't know. I think we're getting hijacked. First class galley flight attendant and our purser's been stabbed. And we can't get a cockpit. The door won't open. Somebody's calling medical and we can't get a stop.
That was from a Netflix series, Turning Point 9/11, The War on Terror. Really good. You should check that out, but that's all the time we have today. Join us tomorrow starting at 6 a.m. We'll talk to you then. So long, everybody.
What did I miss? Oh, I can't believe I missed it.
Did you miss the Buzz Adams Morning Show today?
I missed everything.
Just use the KLAQ mobile app. That way you can listen to Buzz on demand.